Tonight on 8.5-bit, we go underground, go on a trip with our son, and take James's mind different words.
What?
Sure was an intro.
Yeah, that's one of my worst.
At least you remembered to write on the blackboard this time.
I did. Welcome, friends of all design, to episode 302 of 8.5-bit. I am your host, Paul, and joining me tonight are my friends Sam.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And the games from the intro were, of course, Supraland, 6 Inches Under, God of War, and the Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Because we don't talk about that game enough.
Aren't you glad, Paul? That
Actually,
I
yeah,
started playing it now.
We've gotten a delay, so now we can talk about
We
it
get to
more.
talk about it again.
This
Than we would
will be
have.
at least the third year we can talk about it. It's great.
Hopefully it's James's game of the year
Hey,
this
well,
year.
look, I don't play that many games each year now, so it's gone down. Especially never finished
It'll
many
be in the
games.
list.
You should call it your
And
James of the Year.
The James of the Year.
I'm going to give you a little bit of
James
a
is
boost
always
there,
the James of the
James
year.
of the Year.
James of the Year.
I only know one other James, and I don't talk to him that much.
What about the guy that played Spike? He seemed cool. Wasn't he a James?
But I don't know him.
But what if...
I want to
What if we
curate my
could?
personal list of James of the year.
But look at my T-shirt. It's got
It's
bug
bug
snacks
It
on
does
it.
have. I
have
did
a bug
appreciate the
snack
bug snack show.
I do enjoy... it's been said on said games that describe Bug Snacks as one of Paul's favourite games. It is not.
It's
it
just
is
fun.
It is an alright kind of game.
but it's fun to talk about.
But Bug Snacks themselves is very...
What if-
I enjoy the culture of Bug Snacks.
There are no bug snacks plushies, are there?
How quickly
Not the official. That I'm
would
aware
you
of.
throw money at something if whoever made that webbed plushie did bug
Made a
snacks
Bug Snacks.
plushies?
If they made a Bunger or something.
Yeah.
I mean, probably pretty fast. But I'm not someone that spends a lot of money on such
That's
things.
true, yeah.
So if it was like the Spider, probably anything beyond that, I'd be like, yeah, I don't really care. I have
Just
been
make your own.
I have been tempted by the Disco Elysium Special Edition on many an occasion. I'm like, oh, it's a lot of money.
It's got a big album in it.
Quite large sum.
Yeah, well, it's got a statue and it's got like posters. It's cool. I like it, and I'm not going to spend money on it, but I want to. Good times. Okay, and also, I guess we'll talk about the elephant in the room.
Oh, you actually have an
Actual
elephant.
Got him.
Ah.
So this is my son's elephant.
That's a very cute elephant.
I think it's actually handmade. I'm not sure. We got a
Looks
few
it.
handmade one, maybe.
I mean, it looks
Yes.
crocheted.
Yeah.
It
So,
has to be handmade.
Yes, that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Hello. But no, there was big acquisition. Of course, Zynga was acquired by Take-Two. Which I already told Sam that was my fake out.
fantastic.
But I had my double fake out with the elephant, which we will kind of get to in this. So before we talk about games, let's talk about the industry. Because, wow, what a bit of news that came out last week. We woke up to the news that Microsoft is purchasing, in the act of purchasing, not having purchased. This purchase will take until at least June next year.
Mid next year.
They're purchasing Activision, which nobody saw coming. It was. I've never heard a single analyst anywhere or person involved in
Don't
Activision
even-
or Microsoft say that they'd
it
even
has
heard a
been
rumor.
Completely
no rumor of
blindsided.
any kind of
Yeah.
acquisition from anyone.
Yeah, like every other acquisition has had like whispers beforehand. Ooh, doing some
I think
insider trading.
The closest I saw to what could possibly be anything is that a week beforehand, the Overwatch 2 devs said, hey, there's going to be some news next week that's going to be good.
But that might be the news
But it
that
could
came
be
out
fucking
today.
anything.
Yeah, that could be the news that came out today about Blizzard.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that
Who
later.
knows?
They're doing a new game. There we go. Done. Finished.
Job.
Yeah. Some survival thing. It's about as much as anyone knows.
So Microsoft is purchasing Activision for $68.7 billion. A lot of people want to round this to 69 because it is the funny number. And when you sort of point out that if you round it, that is adding $300 million to something.
That gives some scale. It's a perspective
quite a lot.
on the
For
value.
the sake of a
'Cause
joke, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Except we have an additional $300 million in this process.
Do we?
Because it is very likely, not official because they can't be official yet or anything, that when this acquisition goes through, Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision, will be ousted. And his golden parachute in this situation is about $270 million.
So they could just chuck 30 million at, one of us.
Yeah. Just put 30 million and then we are at 69 and we have done it. Yay. Good job.
Yay.
Done it. Good job, everyone. But that said, okay, we want to get rid of Bobby. It's good. But unfortunately, when you're in that part of life, even getting rid of someone and punishing them means giving them $270 million. And also, the buying out is stock, which there's different estimates because he personally owns, but there's in holding companies and stuff as well. But that is estimated to be in the billions.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine.
Yeah, don't cry for Bobby. Don't cry for Bobby, Mr. Moneyball Bobby.
And I don't know what he'll go on to next. I'm sure he'll be involved in games
one of his
somewhere.
super yachts, I assume. I don't think he has ever given a shit about video games.
The thing is, when you hit that point, you get ousted from a company. There's just some random company somewhere that will put you in an exec position for life.
Yeah.
That's just some random business.
Because he's done very well for the people that had stocks. So good. And also, interestingly, I didn't realize one of my dogs was locked in this room with us because he was licking my foot.
He's doing all right.
He's fine. He's happy. Well,
He's doing
if he needs to get out, we'll let him out.
Yeah. So when we say Activision, we don't just mean Activision.
We mean the three.
We do because that's underneath
but
Activision Blizzard King.
Yes, they're the big
Actiblizking, we call them.
Yeah. And the scope goes beyond even that because of all the various acquisitions that were happening underneath all that. With like getting Sierra and stuff like that.
Oh, but they're they're acquired many years ago. They're all just what they have. We'll get onto that.
Yeah,
Do not you worry that point, my son. We've got a lot of shit to get through with this. So yes, for 69 billion, we'll just say that number now. And in perspective, we did mention just before that also since the last episode, Zynga was purchased by Take-Two for a very impressive 12.7 billion.
Is it as impressive though?
It's a lot.
Numbers don't mean anything anymore.
Number.
Well,
it's a very large
without
number.
looking at my screen, how much did ZeniMax go for last year?
It was about 6, wasn't it?
7.5. And before that, of course, we had Star Wars and Marvel. They both went for the same price around, which was 4 billion each.
Yep.
Here's to put numbers into perspective for you.
Yep.
1 million seconds ago. How long do you think that was? Just a rough, quick guess.
1 million seconds?
30 years.
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. Okay.
We
both really didn't understand it. Actually, that was crazy.
That's 1 million. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What about 1 billion?
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, longer. It's back to like 1954.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's 30 years, isn't it? I mean, I was born in the
that's 1
80s.
billion.
Oh, shit, I'm old.
Now you make that 12.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So,
I remember all the things talking about,
number.
like, Jeff Bezos' worth and like if he'd been earning $1,000 a minute since when Jesus was born or something. I was like, he'd still be poor.
Yeah. Well, there's that old video of like the rice to give perspective on like.
Yeah. It's so much money.
There's a point at which it just becomes like our brains can't handle it.
Yeah.
I saw things about like major like houses. Like weirdly, the number 70 billion has come up in other like financial things. It's like how to claw this back into the economy and everything. It's like someone just bought a games company for this.
Yeah.
So big acquisition, and as a bit of a lefty pinko scumbag, I am very down on consolidation. I think it's getting a bit scary in some of this. Can I give my hot take? I think it's going to tie into a few other things.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, because it was a dramatic pause. But in this case, I'm going to argue it's the opposite, because fucking Activision consolidated a lot of shit, and they currently make one fucking game. Every single Activision studio, and I'm just talking about Activision
COD
here,
support
is COD and COD support. Toys for Bob is COD support. Or everyone is COD support. Raven hasn't got to make a fucking game in decades because they're COD support. Yeah, I mean COD does very well, all that, but they're only interested in this one product that is very successful, and that's all that. Blizzard, hey, they've actually just announced a new game, but yeah, that's a little bit more. And King seems mostly Candy Crush. I'm sure they probably dabble.
They just roll out all sorts of shit.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Activision itself has a litany of amazing IPs under its own. What I've written in the notes here is Microsoft buys the rights to Hyperblade. Like, okay, I don't really expect Hyperblade comes back, but if any company is going to leverage old IP, it's someone that during a conversation, which I thought was a gag article at first, said, oh, this is Phil Spencer, by the way, said they got Heretic, don't they? I should check into that.
Yeah,
because
Like Spencer was really excited about it.
And then because of all this massive consolidation, my brain then went to, oh shit, they could give that to the Doom team.
Yep.
You know,
So that's where I first.
Yeah,
as soon as I heard
yeah.
about it, I'm like, what IP is there? What teams can they give shit to?
Yep.
I was just like, throw StarCraft and Warcraft to the AoE team.
The things that can be done with all
Crash
the
and
old
Spyro
Sierra
Double
properties.
Fine.
Because Activision used to be a big publisher, not just of teams that they own, but they were a third-party publisher as well. I'm sure there's some rights messed up, and then some that they don't have, and some that they do have. But they were a publisher that did lots of things, and over time, they've become so laser-focused on making this one thing. All that other stuff fucked off. Even with the success of the remasters of Crash and then Crash 4 and the Spyro remake, all this stuff was financially successful. But it wasn't financially successful enough. They were like...
Didn't top COD.
Yeah. Toys for Bob? Nah. You can just make stuff.
Toys for COD.
But now it's going to be about, what's the game that get people onto Game Pass?
Yeah.
And it's not about needing that one big massive hit.
That's what's going to be interesting, because in that angle, arguably even before that, the biggest acquisition here was actually King.
Yes.
Because King users are the ones most likely to not be engaged in this
Microsoft just gained
platform at all.
such a huge chunk of the mobile market.
Yeah.
Just in this one purchase.
Because mobile is, like, I don't necessarily think it's replacing any other games, but it is definitely a major part of the future of games. It's currently the bigger part of games. We just don't talk about it because we're caught in our old shit.
And the big players are, King and Tencent?
In mobile?
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, I'd assume so.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
That and indie devs.
Oh, I mean, you got the hyper casual.
Yeah.
That's a
There's
bit of a
lots
different.
smaller.
Yeah.
But like a lot of those, King just duplicates and then markets them out of business.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you got, like, I think Lion and, I mean, what's the other one? Voodoo. But you didn't even know the company names.
I've never fucking heard of any of these people.
Paul doesn't know mobile.
No, these
I'm sure they make billions of dollars.
They make
easily.
they make so much money.
And because I just wanted to do the shrug at the camera because I'm like, and that again is a comment. It's just like how
That's why
it doesn't
it's such a
intersect.
different world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like, I am obsessed with gaming shit. Even if I don't play things, like I've read on them and everything because I like this stuff, and I don't know anything. But it's always been the thing. It's like, LOL. Like, at least for a while, I don't know its current size, but was the biggest fucking game in the world. I never heard anything about LOL. It had nothing to do with anything. It's like, it's always the case. Like, everything is actually the big... Roblox.
Yeah.
How often do I see a story about Roblox? Roblox, how much are they worth? Quite a lot.
Oh, I can't remember. But
I could look it up.
They're
It
a
doesn't
big
matter.
number.
But yeah, it's all these things that are massive because they just don't quite intersect with our traditional sect, and I just don't hear anything about it. So yeah, Lion, and what was the other one?
Voodoo.
Voodoo.
Yeah, the hyper casual factories.
Voodoo Vince. It's still making a lot of money.
It
I'm
is.
surprised. That game was average. So yes, and then people are speculating on what PlayStation will do in retaliation.
If Microsoft doesn't buy them, which
but Sony's still bigger than Microsoft with that. At least the gaming divisions.
Oh, okay, no,
Yeah,
but not Microsoft.
Yeah, but it still has to be in a position where they can actually do it.
I don't know if they'd be allowed to buy Sony.
Well, considering Sony's the biggest, because that's the thing. Because now part of this deal going through is it has to go through all the securities and all that stuff. And considering we had,
I'm just remembering back to you remember back in the Internet Explorer days and the
fucking
antitrust stuff
Yeah.
and things and their strategies for getting Windows onto machines and things like that.
It all boiled down to
they have a good history of monopolies.
They include Internet Explorer, and that was bad. And I don't really know what happened.
No, there was something to do with
that's what the major monopoly was about.
No, there was something to do with there was deals made where Windows had to be installed on the computer. It was very difficult to buy a computer without Windows installed.
But the antitrust suit was about Internet Explorer.
Okay, this is just meant
it's because they forced it to be default.
Yeah,
they forced it to be default, and they discourage you from installing others, which they still do.
Well, the latest Windows 11 update for a lot of people have just not only has it reverted back to Edge being the default and Bing being the default, it's changed the Chrome settings to be Bing being the default to search on Chrome.
See,
so now they're fucking with third-party software settings.
That's
to push their things.
And here's again a
which
warning
is
on that.
kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Microsoft's been very much working on good guy Microsoft, and I kind of think Phil is a good guy. I don't know, maybe he kills babies when I'm not watching, but Microsoft themselves as an entity, they're still just this giant juggernaut that will fucking... They're just waiting for the opportunity to do what they can do. They want to get the users. They want everyone on multiple subscriptions if they can, doing everything. They want that reliable income coming in.
But what you can say about Microsoft is that they're a mature tech company that know how to treat their staff well.
Yes, they go much better. Like, I'd kind of prefer to be their employee than their customer sometimes.
Well, yes, no, but that's actually pretty true. Like I've heard they're good to work for.
Yeah, and also that I think they are better just from a selfish gaming perspective, not ignoring all the other social issues and everything. That catalog, they'll be way more responsible and interesting with it than
better suited to leverage it.
Yeah.
Who knows what we'll see in 5 years? Maybe the games they've already announced and we still won't see for years.
Give it 50.
But we might get a bunch of really exciting like E3s and things. For the
E-what's?
E-what's, you know what it means. Games times, E1s.
Oh, Summer Game Fest.
Game Awards. Yeah.
Keighley's. We're going to see a lot of good Keighley's.
Where we're actually getting like really unexpected revivals. Like,
it's going to be the Microsoft Games announcement month.
Yeah. Well, because I mean,
we have new games coming from Microsoft.
It can intersect here, but there is no E3 this year.
Oh,
I am shocked.
They were like, oh, so the digital event, they're like,
just no.
blank face, like, maybe, but nah, it's not happening. Like, oh, so it is just dead. Apparently, they've lost the slot in the LA Convention Center as well, and like, E3 is it's very dead.
Dropped off the planet.
Yeah, it's going to need some real bloody voodoo Vince to get it back on board.
What they need is Microsoft to buy it.
I don't think Microsoft needs the ESA. I think we're beyond the ESA now. Everyone's just doing their... I don't know how the ESA will continue to fund itself with more people still dropping out of it. It's like, you don't really represent or help us legally, so...
Yeah. Why do you exist?
Yeah, we have our own lobbyists, thanks. Fuck off. So we'll see how long the ESA lasts too. But Sony's response, if I had to bet on Sony's response, I am going to expect nothing or close to. Because I don't think it necessarily...
It doesn't dictate a response.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's the narrative a lot of people go for.
Sony isn't going to Game Pass. Their business model isn't based around that. They spend massive money doing their first party. They're not putting that on a service. They might do a Game Pass-ish thing for like third-party stuff. Like an upper tier of PS Plus or something. Possibly. But yeah, you're not getting all the new games first day like Microsoft does. They're taking... Microsoft is in very much a lost lead position. They're just like, we're just going to spend money to get users. We want to build up, and we don't care if we lose money. Sony still wants to make money. But what will be interesting is the future of Activision properties on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Which at the moment they said like, we're going to service existing bases. It's like, so maybe not new games.
Yeah, and when they say like they want to be on the platform, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you can have like some Game Pass games come to Sony? So if you want if you want to get them onto there, you can have like you can sign up to Game Pass and then you'll get them on your I
was listening to Jeff Grubb, who has seen actual figures of things when Microsoft bought ZeniMax, and they looked at the cost difference between having the games be exclusive on Xbox or PlayStation.
That's what it comes down to, effectively. It is just numbers.
And when it came down to it, they would lose over 5 years about $500 million by not putting it on Sony. And for the user acquisition, it was worth it.
That sounds like it's worth the cost.
Yeah.
The problem here, I find, so they spent $70 billion. That's a lot of money. And even though these I think King's revenue last year alone was like $800 million. So I think maybe COD did a billion or something. It's like they're like, so it is there. But even if you took even if it's generously round up to like there's $4 billion revenue, which I think I'm totally falling on my ass, and that's revenue, not profit. That would still take many years to hit 70. So. We'll see. If it affects future of Game Pass, I don't know. Whatever.
There's a lot.
And what's Nintendo's response?
No, nothing.
They're just going to carry on keeping doing this shit.
Nintendo didn't notice.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Nintendo doesn't care.
They just take a phone call once a year from Phil, and he goes, "You want Game Pass on Switch?" And
no,
like,
thank you. Not yet. Thank you. We're still doing okay.
No.
We are absolutely fine here.
There's another Pokemon game coming out. It's fine.
So
it is not fine.
are you all right with Game Pass getting more expensive now?
Honestly, yes. Because I think, at least for us, it's still going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. I am not okay with it getting more expensive because of this fucking acquisition. Because at the moment, like maybe in the future when they start leveraging IP, I buy approximately 0 Actiblizking games a year.
Depends what they do with it.
Yeah. Because they haven't said
in a weird world.
They haven't said anything about doing that. Yeah. But it's sort of like I kind of expect
if it went up
now.
by like $10 a month, and then suddenly you also have a WoW subscription, and some other shit, you could, be interesting.
Especially after they buy Square Enix, and that includes a Final Fantasy 14 subscription.
You mean the hit game Final Fantasy 14 that has a free trial up to whatever it is? Gotta get that market to spin out.
God, we can leverage into Final Fantasy 14 here
it's
as well.
Sale again.
Yes,
it's back.
Final Fantasy 14. It's back.
Released.
The game that was too successful for its own good.
It's back and it's in Australia.
Yes, they just released the Oceanic servers.
Got a big press release last night. And I was like, oh, I know. It's one of those things. It's one of those press releases where I go like, Paul cares not for MMO, but I know everyone else does. I said, like, they did it. They had a cool map.
Yeah, they did a cool map.
Yeah.
Australia, which didn't have Brisbane.
Oh, who cares about Brisbane?
Had Perth, had Canberra, had Sydney.
The important ones. Yeah.
Speaking about Australia, we're recording this on Australia Day.
Yeah. It sure
How's
is.
your Australia Day?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I just, with all the kind of controversy surrounding it, I actually just like to ignore it as a day. Yeah, it's like,
I was going to have barbecue, but then my brother-in-law was an anti-vaxxer and was coming, so we're like, nah, whatever, fuck off.
The only reason I knew it was different from any other day is because Amy was at home instead of at work. Otherwise, it's like, well, just
I checked at work yesterday, like, tomorrow's a public holiday, right?
I mean, when freelancing / work for yourself, public holidays lose all
none of that
all
shit.
anyway.
Weekends, just all blends.
I'm a public employee.
A day is a day.
They and the hottest 100s on the weekend now. I didn't even know it was halfway through the day, and they're like, "Oh, you've missed out."
Okay,
I'm like, "Oh."
So the Wiggles wins hottest 100 and coldest 100.
Oh,
because there's a radio person who does the coldest 100, which is like the worst top one, like the top 100 worst Australian songs.
But did they give
that
that
the Wiggles
to
got both?
But it wasn't the same song.
Lists. No,
I was thinking that
songs.
like the Elephant cover's fine.
Yeah,
that was the only like people were upset. I don't know why you're upset. It was obviously going to win, but like it was a great cover. Like they just played the song and then they played their own song halfway through it and then they played the other song again. Yeah. It's like, no, that's a great cover. It's fine. It's good. It's a fun gimmick. It's a kids group doing this. I'm like, that's as hot as my take gets on that.
A national icon or something. I don't know. I'm British. I don't understand.
I do. Yeah, I watch way too much Wiggles these days, and I have a lot of criticisms. Actually, my son's favorite book is a Wiggle book, and it actually makes me want to start a podcast where I just critically analyze Wiggles materials, because it is.
I bet there is an audience.
I think there is an audience for that.
Given how the top is 100,
the amount of money they make and the way they, the fact that they call someone a DOP on their show is a fucking insult. It's like they can't even fucking white balance shots properly. It drives me insane. But this book, it's about your feelings.
Yeah,
it starts with Emma's feeling happy. It's like, okay, and then Lockie's feeling sad because he's hurt his knee. Then Anthony's worried, and then Simon's nervous, and both of their solutions are to take a breath. I'm like, well, two of these are the same fucking story. And then they're like, oh, how are you feeling now, Wiggles? Happy. Like, Emma was already happy.
Yeah.
And then
she
like,
hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's like, whatever you're feeling, talk to someone about it and they can help. It's like, but one of them was happy. What? The Wiggles. Anyway, biggest acquisition in gaming history.
Yeah.
Do we have any other takes?
I did like that funny article about them acquiring Luigi. That was good.
My immediate thing was, did they be critical of that? Go like, it should have been Waluigi, because he's the one that wants to leave.
Yeah. Put him
they
in
don't give him
whatever
any
Microsoft's version of Smash is.
Yeah. Oh god, the Microsoft Smash now could be amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's the IP that's going to be most interesting to Microsoft. Spyro and Crash, because they don't have kid stuff anymore. Because Blinks didn't really, or Voodoo Vince didn't really work out. So get that kid stuff in, because kids know Spyro. They don't.
They now can compete against Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, they could do. Yeah, they could do a full budget thing up like that.
I'm trying to think who I want to make my Police Quest game. Maybe.
How about Police Quest VR?
No, I was thinking.
You can still take off your pants though. It's very odd that they have that so detailed.
I think maybe In Exile. I'd like a strategy game. I'd like them to do the SWAT angle.
Like We Are the Police or something. You could do something. I don't know. I think I don't really want to be a cop in the current environment. It's like there's problems.
Weird.
Well, who could they give it to then to do it? To
do it justice.
Yeah, to make a cop game.
To make an interesting cop game that then actually like satisfyingly addresses issues and has some kind of like interesting choice.
They have all the studios now, so who gets it?
Disco Elysium devs.
Yeah,
we already had a cop game.
We already had the cop game.
You just described Disco Elysium.
I already have my Police Quest game. All right, I'm good. It's done.
Do you want to be this kind of racist? Yeah, I was explaining to a friend the other day. I'm like, well, you can subscribe to any philosophy in the game, including racism. But there's actually different types of racism, so make sure you choose the one you really want. Yeah, the good one. And then. What else did we intersect with there? Okay, let's just continue newsy stuff. So yeah, that was that. Oh yeah, and just on the stock price thing. So apparently this acquisition actually started way more recent than I expected. I expected something like this would have been in negotiations for like a year plus, like forever. So apparently it actually did begin after, like it was probably been mentioned before.
After the shitstorm.
But after the shitstorm hit, which made them a bargain, which is weird to think it being $70 billion.
Yeah.
So the stock dropped, and what they're paying over the stock is about 20%. Which, when we look at the similar acquisition, which was ZeniMax from last week, they paid 64% over the value.
20% is a damn good deal.
Yeah, so they really swooped in there and got a bargain with the most expensive video game acquisition in history. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see Sony partner up with EA to make Battlefield even bigger than before. With COD, we'll see.
Can they partner up with EA if EA is on Game Pass?
Yeah, but EA, the EA service is on PlayStation as well.
It's on everything.
Yeah, they just partner with everyone. EA doesn't care.
The Finland of this whole situation.
See, EA was the one
Sweden.
that
I thought or Finland. I don't know.
I still would have been shocked with EA, but it made more sense as an acquisition to me because that's all the sports titles. It's like Microsoft wants that shit. They want to get in there, get them Maddens. Poor Madden. Did we talk about? He died.
He died. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
him and Tom Clancy.
Goodbye, sir. Making games in heaven.
Making games in heaven.
And still releasing them. Okay. We may as well stay in the same thing. We've mentioned it a few times now. Blizzard semi-announced a new game.
They did a
survival game.
Yeah, just a survival game.
They're in a new IP. And Jason Schreier put out a tweet, which I thought was a very weird thing. It was like running PR for Blizzard, which I don't really expect from Jason, but oh well. And he's just like, oh, by the way, even the most disgruntled employees has described this team as really good, and the game's pretty amazing.
Well, that's a weird spin to put on it.
That's
what?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird.
We've got a bunch of people that absolutely hate their jobs, but they say this game's good.
Yeah, they say this team is doing some awesome work. Survival.
Yeah, because it can be cool. Yeah, I'm not that into survival games, but I'm curious to see what
new IP
does
could
with
be interesting.
Yeah, there's like a piece of art, and it's like a guy with a hat or something. I don't know.
And there's a mirror in the background, I think.
Ooh, like a spooky door.
A spooky door.
Spooky House. Oh man, let's watch Spooky House instead of doing this podcast.
Make a Spooky House podcast.
There's like the worst idea in the world thing where they watch the same movie every week. Isn't it like Grown Ups or something? Would it be even better if it was we watch Spooky House every week and we just let's talk about it again? If you've never seen Spooky House, you are one of the human race because like 7 people have watched that movie. Good times. Got to watch that Macbeth still on Apple, I think.
Oh, I watched Old the other day.
Oh yes, you were telling me. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's delicious.
Shyamalan, please never stop making movies like you make.
Please keep making movies.
It's like
it's so delightfully stupid. The script is so
It's like if Tommy Wiseau kept making The Room after everyone like laughed at him. And he was like, oh no, actually I'm a comedian. Because Shyamalan's never done that. It's like, I know you all laughed at the happening, but fuck you, I am the greatest director of all time. Cass kept making, like, sometimes genuinely enjoyable, but mostly enjoyable and weird. It's like, did you read the script before shooting it? Okay, whatever.
Typed it up blind.
What are all your jobs and names and occupations? Old is great. Have you seen Old, Sam?
Not yet.
Highly
No,
recommend.
I feel like I should watch it.
It
now.
is, yeah, definitely recommended. It is so goddamn dumb.
I'll add it to the list.
And like the dialogue is so bad, I wondered if it was deliberate. Like, because like he always has his twists. He has something going on. I'm wondering.
Turns out everyone's
is it
illiterate.
this bad on purpose?
like is there something like, are these people secretly aliens pretending to be humans? Like, I honestly thought there was like something going on like this.
This is a lot
No.
about.
Oh, Charlemagne.
Is this genius or just bad? Perfect
Okay.
line.
We have more Activision news, I just realized. Okay, Ravensoft, the company we mentioned before that hasn't got to make a game in forever because they're a support studio, their QA team has decided to unionize. And they put in cards to management and said, you got till Tuesday to respond, and they didn't. So they're playing along. And what will the acquisition mean for this? I have no idea. Maybe good, maybe bad, probably bad. Probably people will be scared to change things when there's a big acquisition happening. So it might have to happen in future. That's about it. It was very funny. Well, not funny. Disappointing reading. Just people don't know what QA is, I guess.
No,
Yeah.
The amount of people
It's
that
just
like
playing fun video games all day, right?
You just sit around and play games.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of people that are like, oh, why does a modern studio need QA anymore? They just can do more public betas. Like,
Which is the thing people complain about.
It's also you've
You
never
can't win.
Yeah, you've never played a public beta that was actually testing anything other than the network infrastructure. I'm sorry to tell you.
If you thought
like-
you were testing anything to do with the game,
Yeah.
you weren't.
Well, you know how like you do them and it's like
The game's coming out in 2
coming out in
weeks?
2
Please
weeks.
provide feedback
Yeah,
so
you know,
we can take it on board.
You are doing a
And,
stress
uh,
test.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
all that is happening
Yeah,
right
they
now.
they can't get enough computers to test that server, so they need your computer to help.
Yeah.
That's all this is about. They don't care that you think that the gun doesn't quite have the right sound effect, or that you fall through the floor. They already knew you fell through the floor and deemed it acceptable.
Months ago,
Yeah.
It was
It's
it's
been-
a closed ticket.
Yeah. It will not fix.
Yeah. No one uses this floor anyway. Okay, let's save the rest of the fun news for later. There's basically none, but there's like 2 things. Great. Okay, so let's talk about some exciting games.
Yeah.
Sam, you and I have
I've
both.
got a pretty good list this time.
You do.
I've been playing some games.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I meant to check one of those. But we'll
Is there
go
one
back
you
to-
don't know what it is? I bet
Well,
there is.
is Escape Simulator Escape Room Simulator?
Yes.
Yes. Then I have played it. We can
Okay.
talk about that again. We'll get to that later.
I bet there's still one you
Oh,
don't
fuck
know
it. Let's
what
just talk about it now.
Because I know nothing about what this is.
Yeah, Escape Room Simulator is it's a first-person simulator of escape rooms
Yeah, done.
that we finished.
So
We
how
finished
is
our
it different
description.
than say something like The Room?
Because you are playing a character controller.
Yeah.
You're not just clicking on shit as a
Yeah, you're
Oh,
actually
camera.
running around it,
You are
and,
you are
okay.
a person in
In
a
a-
room
and it is co-op.
doing stuff, and it's
Okay.
co-op, and it is fucking insane with 4 people because
Four-
everyone takes up the whole room and you can't see anything
Yeah.
because
And-
there's 4 player models in
And,
there.
and people are holding all the things. Like,
Yeah.
can you drop that so I can look at this part of the puzzle to do a thing?
Okay, so it's like the tabletop simulator of
wild.
escape rooms.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, the first
It's
round
really
I played,
nicely
it
made.
bugged out. But other than that, we had a pretty solid thing. We just did the demo. Did you get the full version?
I've got the full one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played through all of the dev made levels.
Yeah.
Now, so are there
So there's
user
user
made? Okay,
yep.
that's what I was going to ask.
The biggest
yeah,
thing
yeah.
they put on is user generated
Yeah.
content. They have daily picks and then just Steam Workshop. And there's so much
so
stuff
so
on
they
that.
do some picks as well. So it's
Yeah,
curated
So,
to a degree.
so when you load it in, they've got like their core levels, their
Uh-huh.
little campaigny level things.
So it literally is tabletop
Which-
simulator, but for
Yeah,
escape
pretty
rooms.
much.
Okay, I'm sold. Like that's a cool idea.
It's really good. Some of the puzzles are really nicely designed because they're legitimately like the ones you'd find
Yeah.
in actual
Yeah,
escape rooms.
I would
It's good.
say
It's fun.
2, maybe 3, but 4 it does get just like because especially since you can break all the
Yeah.
break like there's just breakables
The
in every
thing is,
room.
like, it's like a normal escape room, which means there's shit tons of stuff that aren't relevant to
yeah,
the thing.
yeah,
But unlike those, you are allowed to smash them.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
And
you
there's a
can
little
just
bin in the
smash
corner.
stuff.
You can just smash everything, pick it up, put
Yeah.
it in the bin.
You rip
Okay.
paintings off the wall and
So
chuck
you
them in the
can
bin.
you can break the puzzles then.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's just there's a lot of interactable objects that aren't
There's a lot of
relevant to the
vases
puzzles.
and tiles that can be smashed.
But the thing is all those mechanics exist, which means that people creating their own puzzles can use those as part of puzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can put items in a vase that needs to be smashed to get to the item. Like you
Gotcha.
can-
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's just a bunch of.
So step
mechanics
one,
in
smash
puzzles.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Step
Yeah.
two,
But that's-
realize you've ruined the puzzle.
That's like
by
a normal.
smashing everything.
It's like a normal escape room. The beginning is just like, okay, everyone, just what do you find? Just call out what you find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a thing that's got a lock on it. It needs a 3-digit
Symbols,
code. It's got
keys.
this. I found a shovel. What to do with a shovel? I'm just gonna hit things with the shovel. Oh, the shovel did this. Cool. This is gold, but now it's not. Why? I don't know. Moving on. Yeah, it's pretty good. The game I was going to bring up though was Supraland 6 Inches Under, which we have both played and both finished.
Yeah.
but you have finished it more than I have.
100% it.
I was
Had you
Just like
finished the
other
base game?
Supralands.
no, I never totally completed Supraland.
And you didn't play Crash.
I haven't played Crash. No.
Okay, so I was under the impression you needed to finish the base
You
game
don't
first.
have to.
No, this is a separate game. It's
Okay.
completely standalone. You don't need anything
Okay.
to play.
So what the dev has said is they did Superland and it was great. So they did Crash as DLC and it didn't sell very well because it's DLC and apparently no one buys DLC. So like, we want to do this other one. But no one buys DLC, so we're just going to launch it as a standalone game. So they shoehorned in a bunch of tutorializations so that you could play it without having played the other one. So you understand how shit works and then it's its own thing.
I mean, the tutorial's like
Yeah, it's
2
fine.
minutes. It's fine.
Yeah.
The story of it was that they were doing this because they're going to make Superland 2.
Yes.
They hired up people, but they didn't want them to do their first work on Superland 2. So we'll do this sort of spin-off thing. We're going to make it small. It's going to be a tight 3-month project. So 27 months later, here we are.
They posted a postmortem on it yesterday.
Oh, did
It's
they?
a good read.
Yeah, I haven't read
Because
it.
during that 27 months, 13 months of it, the lead dev decided he hated game development and played billiards for 13 months instead.
Wow. Okay.
And then went, okay, back to game dev. Let's see
I'm
what
outta
they've
here.
been doing
That-
while I've been gone.
That's the guy that made Supraland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is I mean, like I think he'd probably
some
be
time
very comfortable after, because that was primarily solo dev. So I'm sure he got a
Yeah.
good cut of that. Yeah. So the game starts. You don't play the same character from Supraland. He's off being a jerk in the
I
game.
do like all the callbacks.
Yeah, there's some fun callbacks. Very beginning, you're in town, and if you don't know Superland, you're a small scale. You're in a kid's sandbox, and then the rakening begins, which is he rakes the sandbox. So you all run underground. So the rest of the game is based underground, and it's really good.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, the thing that shocked me was that I finished the game in 5 hours, and I'm like, oh. And then I looked at the percentage complete and it said 30%.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, because I didn't even have all the powers yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's wild.
Yeah.
It goes against everything you expect from a video game, I think, in that sense.
Yeah.
Which fits the theme of like what they do with the game in general. Like
Well,
a lot of it is
yeah.
subversion of game mechanics and interesting design stuff.
Because Superland, if we haven't ran it, you don't know about it. Like, it looks like an asset flip, whatever,
It
and
does.
especially
It's got the
originally,
skellies.
it basically
Yeah.
was an asset flip, except it's an asset flip made by people, person and now people. That's just excellent game design. It may
They
be.
put a lot
Yeah.
of effort into that puzzle design, and
It's-
and they describe it themselves as a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Which it is.
Yeah. And it may be the best 3D Metroidvania there is, really. Because when it comes to one that's based on puzzle and exploration. Because it is just, it's like the Breath of the Wild thing. You see something, there's probably something there, something you can do
Yeah.
with it. And you'll find, you go around a corner and find a little secret that leads somewhere else, and then you're off on the other side of the map doing something wild that you weren't expecting. Like, the amount of things that I thought were just like dumb assets in the first game, and then I realized they're
it's
game mechanics.
game
I'm
mechanics,
like,
yeah.
oh, I thought it was just bad set dressing. Well, not bad, but just like
Yeah.
they bought some forks and we'll put some
I found
forks
there
around
was
the place.
there was less of that this time.
I think that's more because we expected to a degree.
Because we knew what was coming for a lot
Yeah.
of things, but there were still a few surprises along the way that I was like, oh, well, that's really cool.
Yeah, there were quite a few
That's a
times where
nice little
I get a
feature
thing. It's
or a
like, oh,
mechanic.
how would I do this? And then I like think about it as an actual physical object for a second. I'm like, could I?
Yeah.
I can. Oh, cool. Yeah, but
Fun
they
puzzle
also
solving.
wrote about how they wanted it to be. probably a little, from not to say it's a little bit shorter than Supraland, but not by much. It's still a pretty substantial game. But they were like, if you just want to finish the game, it's shorter and easier.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff is tangential. But the tangential stuff's awesome. So,
this way, I saw credits, and you get an achievement for finishing the game, and the achievement literally says, you're probably at 50% by now. And I checked my percentage, and I was at 50%. So I guess I did all the things you're supposed to do before doing the credits roll.
Are you supposed to have all the... Did you have all the powers?
No. There's 2 you get afterwards.
Okay,
I think
cool.
it's 2.
Yeah.
There's definitely a couple of them.
There's 2 I didn't
post-game.
have, yeah. And then everything can be upgraded.
But then there's this huge
and
post-game
there's,
area. There's 3
Yeah, because
post-game areas.
I love as the credits are rolling, it's just showing like shots from the game. It's like just like close up of all these chests that are unopened, and then like the areas that I've never seen.
Like,
I'm like,
what the hell?
I guess I'll go back in. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's only on PC, and it quite possibly will only be on PC because they said they split the code base from the console version long ago, and unless someone wants to pay them, they don't have any interest in porting it. Yeah.
So if someone hasn't played one before, do you recommend this one? Or?
I would recommend the original or this one.
Yeah,
But
like,
either way, play all of it.
Yeah, like the original one still, and this one does continue on but it does repeat a few of the mechanics. Like half of them are from the old and half of them are new. The first one's still an awesome game, and if you're on console, it's your only choice. But also, if you just want to play the one that looks slightly better and is just newer, other than that, really, you can just jump straight into it. It's not like you're going to spoil the amazing tale of Supraland.
No, you're not playing it for story.
What do you mean you're not?
It's comedic, but it's not the core.
What about that very original character that came up that was at the top of Cage Town and had trickle-down economics, and he had a toupee and a fat belly?
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I did like subverting the economy.
Yeah, they literally have tubes going into everyone's like money, and it just sucks their money up
upwards,
to the top.
and he calls it a trickle-down economy.
Yeah. It's not subtle.
Yeah.
It's,
so good.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm not there for subtlety.
It's interfering.
Yeah, my phone had a little bit of a jiggle in the audio recording, so I'm moving it away. Got my shovel knight amiibo.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah, it was hard to get the blue boy, and then after I bought it, I found a blue boy for the same price. I'm like, fuck. Oh well, golden boy it is. Okay. Now, James.
Yes.
I was very surprised to see this on your list. We've both been playing the Magicdweedoo Thwee pack.
So the reason it's on there is because I really wanted to play it. I forgot it was out, and then bought it this afternoon because I wanted to play it before coming on the show.
Amazing. So Magicdweedoo is an Australian counterculture game designer that I am only aware of because his game Mealmates was up for an audio award last year, and especially since I run a music show, I'm like, let me listen to it, and it was pretty cool. And I bought the game and I played, but you really want to play it with other people. That game, it's a good multi-person player game. And I've sort of been semi-following him since, and I don't really know anything about him. And then suddenly I see on the Switch, upcoming next week, the Magicdweedoo Thwee pack. I'm like, but this is just a guy that mostly sells his stuff on itch. Like, this isn't a guy that gets stuff
on Switch.
Yeah, it's on Switch, yeah.
Which is the itch.io
so
of handheld consoles.
What pushed you to want to get into the Thwee pack?
I love how janky everything looks. Like, I love creators, and there's some that I follow. Some of them are talented, some are not. Clearly, this guy actually is talented.
It's so and I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to, if you had to make me objectively describe why his shitty MS Paint art is fine and someone else's is like half-assed, I don't know.
But I love supporting these people because I love people who can make a game and just give no fucks. Like, they're just there, they're doing their thing. They're just gonna. What you're seeing is it's so creatively honest that I just love
exactly what they wanted it to be.
Yeah. So what have you played from the Thwee pack?
So I've played a bit of Mealmates.
That's probably the most polished mainstream one.
Yeah, meaty one in there.
I don't know if it's the most meaty though.
Well, I loaded up,
but it is meaty.
That's sort of what I meant. Like it's the meatiest one. I very briefly, because I only got to play this thing for about an hour. I very briefly checked out the shoe platformer. Ticket, which that one, I don't really like platformers that much.
But I mean, I don't think it just... I think maybe liking platformers would make you like it less.
Yeah.
It is certainly a weird platformer. It does not explain its rules, and you have to. One of the things I like is that you can squash a level. But you only do one. And then you just if you don't like a level, you can just squash it, take it off the game.
Yeah, it's like once a day you get one squash.
Oh, is it once a day? I thought it was just once ever.
I think it's once a day you can do a squash.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was once ever.
And and this is one of the things I immediately loved.
Yeah.
This is about this whole product. Is it gets into it, and I think it was one of the main titles come up, or it was I don't know, it was like a title card, and it started stretching out because it wants a stretch effect. Because the guy loves stretch effects.
Oh yeah.
And it keeps stretching and stretching, and then the font starts aliasing, and it just looks like rubbish. And I know that he sat there while making this game and go, I need to choose a time and an amount this needs to stretch, and I'm all in.
Yeah, just bump those numbers up.
It's it goes whoop, and I was like, I love it. This is why I'm here.
So have you played New Ice York yet?
And I've loaded up New Ice York, which I feel is the one by myself that I want to give, because so far the writing has been very funny.
New Ice York has fucking captivated my brain. It's New York, but it's been frozen.
New Ice York,
but it's also been frozen, which
it was already called New Ice York, but now you've gone to sleep and it's been frozen.
Yeah,
so
and you're a cop.
It's come up to its namesake.
Yeah. And on a game design level, out of total honesty here, it's shit.
Well, so far, at least for me, the whole game has been look at the thing on the wall.
Oh, see the cool gag drawing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what the game is. It's find the person that you're supposed to talk to, at which point everyone will move or become active, and then you go find the next person you talk to. So you just sort of but you can sort of follow it until it just throws other shit in there, and suddenly punch out, and there's one. Oh god, I can't even spoil it for you. So this game's silly gag jokes. There's a criminal. His name is Criminal. The end. I mean, I don't even. I'm not trying to. I don't want to be spoilery, but also I have no idea what happened. It is so out of left field, and so this is what was going on all along, and I'm like, was it? I need to replay New Ice York, and I think I think I unlocked the secret, but I don't know, and it's got a tone to it that, as I say, it's just very simple. It's just going to the next spot, everything going up, and I'm trying not to, because the fun is the story. So I suppose I want to try and sell the story. It's funny, but it's also just at one point there's a table tennis game, and the other characters as you're playing go there's literally no reward for doing this. Yeah, but I still want to win the table tennis game. Here we go. It's bad MS Paint art, and it's all just blue on black and white until it's not.
What I like about the bad MS Paint art is it, but then there's other art, title card art, which is quite good. Mm-hmm. So it's I don't know if he did that stuff as well.
As far as I'm aware, he seems to be quite a competent artist, and this MS Paint art,
it's purposely bad.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I had my Switchy, because I took a bunch of screenshots of it. Yeah. It's
and I think that's what separates it out. You have stuff.
It's a good artist drawing bad art.
Yes. Yeah.
There's certainly control of it. No, unjokingly, the game and its narrative have haunted me since I played it, and I'm going to replay New Ice York. And I haven't hooked up yet. I'm trying to hook up with Magicdweedoo to do an interview, and I will ask him about my questions on that world and that game.
Do a deep dive in the lore.
I hope he looks me in the eye and says, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's got some intense things going on in that. But so it's got sort of this narrative adventure game. It's got this weird platformer that subverts your expectations, and it's got Mealmates, which is kind of
a bit
WarioWare-ish, playing these small mini games, but it's supposed to be multiplayer primarily, although there is a single player mode you can play, and it's about finding the making you the meatiest, so you make the best meal, your person, you're a meat person. The meal mate, and so you want to be tasty, and good soundtrack, and you can play all the soundtracks. There's a soundtrack player, and for some reason he's added the ability to slow or speed up the track.
Why not?
because I guess it's just part of the library they're using, and it's added in. Apparently there's a bunch of little secrets added to the package, and I don't think I've found any of those yet, because the only secret I think I found was in Ice New York, so I don't know if that counts. It's wild. If you want to see something weird and very counterculture and very much its own thing, you can check out the Magicdweedoo, which I love saying as well.
I mean, it's like $26, I think, somewhere around there.
Probably pretty steep for most people.
Yeah, and I kind of wish, it was a little bit cheaper, just so it's a hard recommend for someone that doesn't buy many things.
Look, I don't know here. I don't know any of this, but I kind of assume. Give it a couple of months and it'll just be one of those perpetually on sale.
Oh, maybe.
Like Infini. Like, you can buy Infini for like 99 cents every other day.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't, because that game isn't worth that.
Yeah, this is much better than Infini.
Oh, yeah, these are genuinely enjoyable games with good soundtracks.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's a better thing.
things.
Like, if you're interested in like weird counterculture shit, then and probably also supporting the developer. You want to give money to people so this stuff continues to exist, then maybe it's worth getting at that price. Otherwise, Yeah,
that's kind of why I bought it day one, because it's like, I just think it's awesome that this is here.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, where should we go now? I'm going to do a couple of quick ones. Heaven Dust 2. Do you remember Heaven Dust 1?
No.
Well, I'm not surprised. But what will surprise you is that both games seem pretty cool. These are Resident Evil likes.
I do remember Heaven Dust 1.
And it's a bit chibi, and it's played from sort of a slightly tilted top-down perspective, and it is kind of very by the numbers. But that's all it's trying to do. It's like a very much, you want to have this experience and investigate a lab and shoot some zombies and solve some, you need this key to solve that thing and go around.
Do you want to play Resident Evil but are fed up of playing Resident Evil?
Yeah, it's like...
Play this.
It's like if you want like a Resident Evil like... just like some junk food just to eat and not really think about too deeply. Like, it's just fine. I've just had a fine time playing it. They don't like the aiming. The aiming's actually kind of interesting. You point in the direction, you hold down the gun up, it just auto aims at the character, but then it's like wait till the headshot. So you can shoot early, you can just get some shots on the body. And some zombies actually don't need the headshot, so you can choose between that. But it's just wait for time, get your beat on. I'm like, that's fine.
On. Yeah.
There's no annoying controls. It's all pretty readable. It does the exact same green herb and red herb and all this
and
sort of...
combine them and all that stuff.
It's just Resident Evil. Yeah. It's just a rip-off. But it's also kind of fun. It kind of, and the project kind of reminds me... I was going to make the comparison to Too Dark. I'm like, who the fuck knows Too Dark except me anyway? Thank you. Oh man, Too Dark. Too Dark's too scary for me.
The thing is, I really don't like these kinds of games,
but
I know a few people who really do.
They really got into Heaven Dust?
I'm adjacent to a lot of Resident Evil likes.
Yeah.
Because people have been like, I play Resident Evil too much. What are other games like it?
I think you would be fine with Heaven Dust.
Yeah, I think Heaven Dust would be fine.
The slightly
Too Dark,
cartoony...
I know for a fact isn't too much for me.
Yeah,
it's too dark.
I didn't get very far in it. I was like, I really want to support this developer, but this is actually... I play...
What kind of horror is it?
It's like rescuing kids from murderers.
Okay.
Go into it, but it's also lots of being chased in line of sight stuff and if you don't
pretty hectic theme.
Yeah. It's pretty even though it's cartoony, I mean you disappear the cartoony stuff pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna because we've got a laptop here, just pull out some Too Dark for James.
Yeah.
It's also funny, it always appears at the top because it's got a 2 at the beginning. It appears right at the top of my Steam list. Oh, we don't want to do the music in here.
Yeah, we get picked up by them YouTubes.
So it's very very dark, very using your torch going around. I'm gonna murder you and all the kids stuff. Yes, but it's is it the Little Big Adventure guy or is it the Alone in the Dark guy? Which one's Frederick Renal? I forget. I feel like I'm a bad guy. What did Frederick Renal make? Little Big Adventure.
Oh, all right.
Oh, and Alone in the Dark.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Wow, we learned something.
You were right twice.
I was
Double right.
Oh, now instead of feeling bad, now I feel like a smartass.
What's that on? Is that on?
That's a PC game.
On PC.
I don't know if it got ported to anything. I don't think it did.
Yeah.
But it could have. It was
so.
but yeah. I mean, it's pretty niche.
Yeah.
As I say, it was kind of intense for a cartoony horror-looking game. Yes. And then the other one, Blackwind, I've been playing on PS5, and it's anime-ass twin-stick shooter where it's like, yes, we're delivering this. I'm with my father, the scientist who's made this advanced mech, and we're delivering it to these people, but it's not going to be used for war. Don't worry.
It's used for war, right?
And then, then you get shot down. It's like you get thrown in the mech for safety.
You have to use it for
but then the mech won't let you out of it because you need your father's order. But he's left on the crashed ship. Oh no! So you're stuck in this mech. And then a totally average twin stick shooter, which made me go, why does this exist? Several times when playing it. I don't really have much to say about it because I was just utterly confused as its existence because it's so boringly average.
See, my brain went off on a tangent there.
Yeah.
So when you said someone's stuck in a mech, can't get out. See that as a movie premise, as a survival thing.
Sounds fucking cool.
Because say it's in the future, for whatever reason you are locked in a mech. You only have so much water left. So you have to eat at some point.
If you physically can't leave.
Yeah, and you have so there's a problem to be solved of getting out of this goddamn mech. I feel like there's
gotta go stand in water and have it leak.
Pacific Rim show than the Pacific Rim show. Yeah.
That was a Pacific Rim show.
There's an anime, on Netflix. God. It was possibly bad.
Possibly bad.
Yeah, it was set in Australia too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do we consider
that
Pacific Rim 2?
I love Pacific Rim 2, but that's because I love how anime it is. It's like one was enjoyable for me. I loved I
think one is pretty good.
And like
it's pretty
fun world building they did with it was cool. Yeah. And then like 2 I consider entirely separate, and then just went, you know what if we take that premise and just balls to the wall Gundam on it? And they did.
Those Gundams. Gundams.
Best of both giant mech worlds.
I didn't care for it.
It wasn't a good movie.
So Sam.
Yeah.
You have been playing an old video game.
I have. I've been playing a few old video games.
Well, in particular, I'm talking about a dad one.
I've been playing Dad of Boy, or so far in my journey, I've been taken to calling it God of Door, because there sure is a lot of door opening.
Yes, there are. They do non-subtly mask their loading times.
Yeah, I was about to say, for a game that advertised itself as having no hard cuts, sure is a lot of fake hard cuts.
It is one of those things that
every time I climb something, I'm like, this is awfully specifically slow.
so often when there's like movie gimmicks, like it's like, oh, it's just it's just like movies that are like, oh, there's no cuts. It's just like, you're like, did you actually need this? I think this movie would have been better if you had some cuts in it. Like, World War One. Is it 1917?
1917.
Yeah, there's just parts of that I'm like,
could have had a cut here.
You could have had some fucking cuts.
And then they did that weird stuff where they needed to progress time forward, so they had like someone falling asleep and then used that as an excuse.
They got knocked out.
Yeah, but it kind of made it made me feel a little bit like playing a Bethesda game, where like it just felt artificially.
It made everything
small.
It made everything feel small. Yeah. I was like, just
you could have had a cut.
You could have just some long scenes, like especially the first like third of that movie is like brilliant. They're so well put together. I'm like, and the amount of times where I'm like, oh look, rock's gone in the foreground again. I wonder if they're masking a card. Because why else would you put a fucking rock in the foreground of a movie? Just cut.
Yeah. Treating it like a stage show.
Stop lying to us. It's fine. We know you're cutting. We know this isn't real.
What
it's
if
an
they just
artifice.
did 3 acts? Each act was a cut.
Yeah, fine. And whatever. I just like don't let the technology dictate how you can tell the story. Basically, don't go. Oh, we can't cut because we promised not to. Well, fuck your promise. Just make it a better movie.
I thought it was an okay movie.
It's still a good movie, but it didn't need
it didn't need to be one big long take.
The gimmick worked for some parts, and other parts they could have just shot a fucking movie. Yeah.
God of War.
God of War. They could have used some cuts. That's the end of the quote on God of War. Anyway,
So I'm playing the PC release, obviously. Otherwise,
in your
I
ultra
wouldn't
wide,
be talking about
on your supercomputer,
which is actually wider than God of War supports. It supports 21:9. I've got 32:19 or whatever the ratio is. So I still have black bars, but it's still fantastic.
Why don't you stretch it?
I don't think you can. You just can't. Like the resolution is
just
set
won't actually
to
go
the
there.
full
Yeah.
one, and then it just black bars it.
What kind of monitor can't stretch an image?
I know, right? But I'm having an interesting experience with it, and I think maybe not unique, but fairly unique experience with it, because I'm somehow going into this game blind, like completely fresh. I know one major story plot point that doesn't affect anything of me playing the game because it's about the journey, not that plot point. But the rest of it, I've got no idea. I didn't know what. Other than God of War in Norse mythology, I've got nothing.
Have you played other God of War games?
I have played the other God of War games. I like them very much.
Okay.
I enjoy God of War as a premise.
I don't think this is particularly unique. I think a lot of people played this in that state. I didn't know anything particularly.
No, like because of how long it's been out.
Yeah. Oh, people unique as in now. People that are playing it now have somehow avoided it. You know, it's weird because there's some pretty big story moments later, and they haven't become memes or anything. Like. I don't see them around.
This is the thing about it. Most of the big surprise or like my enjoyment I'm getting from it is from the set pieces and some of the sequences. But when the game's trying to hide things from me, a mythology nerd, it's a very interesting take because like first two big NPCs you ever encounter in that game, they're like, oh, it's a stranger and a witch. Who are these people? I'm like, I know who these are. I know exactly who they are.
Yeah, I think
tell you immediately who they are.
I think that stuff isn't obfuscated in a way that's meaningful, so it's okay if you know who they are.
Yeah,
it'll be.
It doesn't like ruin the whole situation.
I'm going to ask afterwards to see if you've made some other jumps because there's some interesting things they've done.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah,
I'm not
because that's one of the it's one of the great things about Norse mythology. It's like. It's not like a fixed mythology with like this is the story. It's like
wild stuff.
Yeah, it's like well, sometimes this guy's father, sometimes he's not, and sometimes they kill each other, but sometimes they're lovers, and sometimes they don't exist in the same stories at all.
Just mythology for you, different stories.
Yeah, it was never a
extended
like
Norse universe.
Yeah, exactly. the
That's
Norse,
how I think of it.
It's the Norse multiverse.
Great same.
Yeah, good times. So
I am having a lot of fun. I had to break my brain out of two modes. First, the default hack and slash mode, because you cannot play that combat in hack and slash, like full hack and slash.
No, it's a bit more methodical.
But once I broke out of that, I had to break out of Dark Souls mode, because you also can't play it like
it's not a Dark Souls game. No,
it's in between.
It's still very actiony, and it will probably pick up. Well, the thing is, like the pace is going to pick up, and you're going to get more abilities.
Now that I have a lot more of the abilities too, like it feels a lot more flowy and fun.
But at the same time, it's still not a mindless hack and slash like God of War. Basically was because that's I never finished a God of War beforehand because I always just got bored because you just get like the combo that works and you just like go, some more harpies. I'll jump in the air before I do the combo, I guess. There we go. And yeah, I could always start them and say this is cool. These set pieces are cool, and then I just trail off. But God of War kept me all the way to the end.
This one like.
It's a good
I'm playing it in
as well.
short bursts of like 2 hours or so at a time.
Yeah.
2-3 hours, I think.
Which that'll take a good few weeks.
Every single burst has had like a moment in it where I've actually sat back and gone, fuck, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is really fucking cool.
What I'm really looking forward for the sequel is that the one thing that sort of falters in that God of War, I think, is that as far as like big boss battles go, doesn't really have them. There's like one big handful. There's kind of like one big creature. There's like a semi-big creature, and you just end up fighting them all the time. They're most of the boss battles, and then there's like one big creature, and then there's like the finale, which isn't like it's big in scale, but it's not it's not like there's a mountain tearing you apart or something like in the other Gods of War. And I feel like it was kind of budgetary. And I think now that all the tech's in place and they'll be able
to improve on it.
Yeah, I feel like this one's going to have because there is shit in this game where you're going to go like, oh, I can't wait to, holy shit, that looks good. And they don't go there.
Oh, no.
And you're like, oh, that's better come back later. And it will, I have no doubt. Yeah. Only a couple of things, but they are tantalizing. Ooh, how tantalizing. But having fun.
Having a lot of fun. PC version runs like a goddamn dream. Obviously, I have a very nice machine now.
Yes, but I still haven't heard any port complaints.
It maxes out 120. I think is the highest you can lock it at frame rate wise, and it's running beautifully on an ultra wide.
Do you think, if there is no announcement of the next one coming to PC in the near future,
I believe I'll probably still wait for it to come to PC.
Because I think Sony isn't.
I still have a thing about, like, there are only certain games that I enjoy using a DualShock for.
But it'll do so many cool things with that vibration.
That is a selling point.
Yeah. Actually, that probably will feel... Throwing that axe with that controller is probably going to feel amazing.
Yeah. I would consider, if I have a PS5 at the time it comes out,
you would
by the time it comes out, I would consider it if they've made enough changes to warrant it, with that whole force feedback and all that. Yeah. I can see if they did something like, you know, how Returnal does, how Returnal uses the triggers. If they started doing stuff like that, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. But are they going to bring any of those DualSense support to PC?
I haven't heard anything with that. Like, I mean, there's technically could. Like, you can use their on there. Yeah. I just haven't heard of driver support for it.
We haven't had any PS5 games come to PC yet, have we? No. Or PS4 games. So it'd be interesting to see if they do.
Yeah. Cool. God of War.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I remember it being a much good
better
video
PC
game.
port than Final Fantasy VII.
I wonder how long the World Tree will take to load on the PS5 when that comes out. Because those are some long load times. Oh, sorry. No, we're waiting for the magic to happen. Oh. We know what you're doing. You're loading assets.
Actually, it's interesting because a lot of those sequences where they're obviously, you know, waiting to load assets, they're still lengthy. But the second I see a load screen to, like, go back to menu, or when I load my save game, it's instant.
Yeah.
It's on an M2. I have it on an M2 drive.
Well, that's it. Cause
I don't get to read the tip.
Because they knew that, like, it'd take this long, and the scenes, I think, probably take longer than the load time, because they're like, well, we're going to pad it out with dialogue and story moments and everything. So the thing is, even if they couldn't speed up the scenes because they paced them for dialogue.
One of the things I picked up on, and you just mentioned dialogue too, that I really liked, and I think way more games should do it, is I accidentally interrupted some banter in the boat because I landed the boat and started a story banter instead.
Yeah, boat stories are the best.
I didn't get the dialogue. Yeah. The dialogue stopped. I should stop and listen to the goddamn dialogue. And then next time we got in the boat, it continued the dialogue.
Yeah.
So as I
picked up,
as I was saying,
I was like, oh, whatever happened to the thing you were talking about? And then you just can.
Yeah.
Every game should do that. Every game with dialogue should
great.
do that.
Yeah.
It's like so many little things.
Well, it's things like, and that's like hopefully because this year we're also seeing the release of Signal game dialogue on the island with the ghosts. God damn it! Why is this game out of my head?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Got my big list somewhere.
The Oxenfree guys.
Oxenfree 2, yeah.
Oh, Oxenfree 2, okay, yeah.
So that should be out, and like, because that's what Oxenfree was so good at, just like, not necessarily continuing, but making that interruption natural, not just the game thing of like, oh, I've hit the next checkpoint, better start this dialogue, I'll cancel the old dialogue. It's like, god damn it, I've missed the good thing. Okay, cool. So, Data Boy. James, you've been playing The Outer Wilds.
Yes, this would be the 5th attempt? I think it's about how many times.
So for those that don't know, listen to the show. What is The Outer Wilds? What is The Outer Wilds to James?
It has taken me a long time to get into this game. There have been many false starts. And I think part of the problem was not really understanding what the game is going into it. Or at least not framing it in a way.
It means that me and Paul failed at our jobs of pitching it to you.
I was talking it to you for hours upon hours, and then you still didn't quite
I didn't quite understand. So the way that my brain ended up understanding it, it's like Fallout 76 pre-Settlers crossed with The Witness.
Oh god, that is actually a really good comparison.
So, and unless I understand both these things, like because first I thought, oh, it's Fallout 76 pre-Settlers, and if you try to play it like that, it just gets kind of frustrating because I'm just walking around trying to follow some kind of thread,
trying to find the quest.
Yeah, but unaware that it's also The Witness where it's about
your own quest.
You're learning about how the world works so you can go along further, and there's nothing stopping you from going wherever you want. It's just you have to learn the mechanic is obtuse enough so you're unlikely to stumble on it.
The main
accidentally.
statement I use for it, and I've used it for a couple of friends to assist them when they were playing the DLC, once they asked for assistance, is there is nothing in the Outer Wilds that like is a barrier. You either have the knowledge or you don't yet.
Yeah.
But somewhere that knowledge exists.
And I think for the most part it works. I think where I'm getting to now is I think I'm getting close-ish to the end. And I've been having a very good time with it while you've got your really cool web of like here are all your rumors, and it does a really good job at going, here's a new thing, and here's some little tips to kind of go over there. I find that as the possibility space gets smaller, and as the rant I had on Discord the other day, is that you run out of like things to go somewhere else if you kind of get a bit stuck. And because the game isn't going to explicitly tell me, do you have this knowledge? Yes, no. I don't know if it's like, if I just haven't gone down a path or if I haven't learned something yet. I don't know which way I should tackle these things. So I think like that sort of stumbled me a little bit, but I think you clarified a few things which would kind of get me back on track. But yes, it has been it's
been a journey.
It has been yes.
It's impressive how many times you've tried.
Well, it's because I should like it. Like every time I load it up, like this is a thing that I should like. Like
the music's just so
good.
There's
no reason for me to not like this game. And like even just getting around the universe is great. Yeah. Like and how all the physics work, and like it's like it all works really nicely.
Everything about the Outer Wilds should be ticking every single one of your boxes.
And I think the reason it didn't is just because I went in with the wrong expectations about what it was. So now with that fixed, yes, I've been having a much better time with it. And the good thing is that the Switch version is going to come out this year, which does make it a contender for a game of the year. There it is. Year number 3 will it get in there?
Yeah, let's get it in again.
We just need some kind of extra stuff for Disco Elysium.
Yeah, we can get
just like
do it all over again.
Come on, Death Stranding DLC.
Surely they're going to do more stuff. It's another Death Stranding thing. We can just do the same games every year.
Amazing. But yeah, I do now, having played a bit of it, I do wonder how that Switch version is going to go.
I am very interested to see how it runs.
Yeah.
Because arguably it shouldn't.
It's going to run real good at 120.
I mean, I was trying to think technically how you do it. And all I could think... Well, you give me your theory on how it would work.
Not even the theory on how it would work. All I can think of when I hear that there's a Switch port is I remember the No-Clip documentary where they talk about a thing you can do in the game that they were adamantly told you shouldn't leave in the game as a thing you can do. Which is, put your scout on one planet, put your ship on a second planet, and then fuck off to a third planet. So the game has to keep track of physics at 3 separate locations all at once.
Yes.
Because if you do it on the right planets, it crashes. And it still will, to this day, crash if you do that with the right... If you pick the right
combination,
planets.
yeah.
I mean, I can imagine what the combination would be.
Yeah. If you pick the 3 most intensive physics planets to do that on, the game will crash.
Yeah.
And they were told, like, you shouldn't allow that. And they're like, but we have to. We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So, like, the Switch hardware...
Yeah.
Surely it has way more restriction than that in terms of what it's going to handle.
Yeah, because I was...
So they've either done a fantastic job.
I think that might be why it's been taking so long to come out, because I think it's going to be real fucking hard to port. We'll see.
God, it's Unity, isn't it? I should just rip it apart.
They had to have done, or they have to be doing some incredible optimization.
Well, I would assume it'd be... The way I would think you'd make this thing work would be you'd effectively script out the... At any point, you should be able to say, at time 0.5... This is where everything is. Like say like
except they don't.
Except it's a physics simulation.
Well, but there shouldn't have to be a physics simulation.
They'd have to change the way the game works.
I probably wouldn't. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe there's some like.
I mean, they could. That was my sort of
basically just rewrite the whole physics.
We're all getting so excited. We're all too way too hot now.
Well, because I was thinking like, and maybe this is I misunderstand that there's something about it, but I assume that you don't affect say the orbital patterns Or maybe you do. I don't
know.
No,
those are set.
There's some things that are set.
So like boom, it doesn't need to be physics. Or like say the rising of the sand. I assume I don't know. Maybe you do impact that.
It is just time based.
Yeah. So like bam, you don't have to worry about physics for that. And
it's the things that it interacts with.
But then how many are there? You've got the ship, you've got the scout, you've got the player. How many physics bodies are there?
Yeah, there's a few other things around in there. But that's the thing. It's like,
but are there physics bodies?
It's okay. Are they? Yeah, there's a few things
because I don't actually. I don't actually know of too many physics bodies in the game. Because there's, apart from the planets.
No, not a whole lot. But then it's also, even if you just take that one, and that's not necessarily one of the planets we're thinking about, if that's still just tracking it whilst, like if you put your probe there and the sand's coming up and you're off on another planet, which might be, say, a little wishy-washy.
I'm actually
they might just have to restrict probe usage to help.
Anyway, like it's a very interesting like programming problem to think about, because I think when I break it down of like how many, say, like bodies there are you have to keep track of, I actually don't think there's that many. I think that the physics, a lot of it can just be predetermined, like the sand rising. At any point you should be able to say at 10 minutes this is it. Like there's no calculation there. If you go off and do something else, it doesn't need to keep track of that.
I think there's also, without getting too deep into it, like worth watching the way that the game's actually pieced together, like how it actually makes those zones and how they interrelate and everything.
Yeah, I should once I'm done with it, because I will finish it, because I've been really enjoying it.
The No Club documentary.
I should go watch it because I find it technically very interesting to think about as well.
The biggest thing that I get with it is how like there's a shot in there of like trying to like look at something, and because you're in a XYZ 3D thing, but you're doing everything in spheres. It's just everything's like upside down or flipped, or like to actually move forward, you have to like circle the camera to like do this weird circle motion. It's wild.
It's weird. It's Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
But it's won you over finally.
Yes. Yeah. I and probably when I finish it, will pick up the
DLC.
Yeah.
Have some fun with that.
Highly recommend. Look, even if you didn't finish it, you're gonna shit yourself at least 3 times.
Oh no, I think I'm close enough now. Like I think I've got Quantum Moon to figure out, and then Sun Lab, and I think Black Hole Forge. I think are the 3 main things I got left to go. And I expect there might be some stuff after that, but a lot of the other stuff I think I've cleared.
Yeah, I think you should have a clear path after that stuff. Yeah. And you can just go to the sun the hard way.
I was thinking about just doing that.
I still haven't been able to. I loaded it up a few weeks ago and spent an hour trying and went, I'm not landing on this. It's not happening.
Yeah, there's a station near the sun, which means it's affected by the sun's gravity, and you can land on it, but that's not the recommended way of doing it.
This is the way most people try to begin with.
Like, there's a thing there. I'll just let it. Oh, God! Here we go again!
Because Cheryl has been watching me play it, there is a little bit of, did you crash into the sun again? Like, it happens a lot.
Look, the real question is, how many times have you gotten out the ship without your suit on?
Not once.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll fucking get you.
It's going to happen once.
It gets all of us eventually.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. It did happen once, but I was in an oxygen area.
Oh, that's fine.
So I went back in and put on the suit. That's the only time I've done it.
You lucky duck. Okay. Other things. I've been playing Pupparazzi.
Yeah, I forgot that came out.
So Pupparazzi came out. It's a game where you are a photographer for cute puppies. But you are not a puppy. And you are not a human.
What are you?
All right.
Are you a sentient camera?
Yes, you are.
Oh my God. What? Seriously?
It doesn't say anything, but then you see your own shadow, and you are a camera with legs.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I was like, fuck yeah.
I thought I was making a funny joke.
It's weird. So partly style, but I'm guessing mostly they made a style out of budget. These dogs that are running around everywhere are not animated, because animating animals, making them interact, is quite expensive.
Yeah, legs are hard.
They just kind of like bounce with a bit of stretch, bit of stretch and bounce to it. So they do around they go, and I thought just like, okay, this is just, they have an area, they have dogs, and they're like, this one goes around on its bike, and the road bikes and stuff like that. It's quite funky, and so I'm like, get a picture of a dog on the bike. I'm like, okay, I'll go back to where that dog was. Where's that dog? They are actually more free roaming than I first understood. It's an extremely simple game. So pretty much you're a dog paparazzi, and you go to an area. It says, hey, I want a picture of a dog wearing a hat. So you go and take a picture of a dog wearing a hat. No, I want a picture of a dog wearing a hat taken with this specific lens. Okay, I'll do that. And as you do things, you make money by completing challenges and finding bones in the world. And you can buy more filters and camera lenses and that sort of thing. And you get followers by posting things to dog.net. And because the game doesn't want you to just sit there and take all the photos and get all the followers, because that uses stuff to gate the game, after like 10 photos uploaded, it says like, stop spamming us. So you have to go to another area. You could just leave and come back to the same area and
your account,
do the same thing again. So it's not really, it's just sort of encouraging you to move on, I guess. There's no
story
challenge.
or anything in this thing? It's just,
no, not
they're not
really.
going for some heart-warming little tale.
Oh, the camera
along.
body? No.
It does what it says on the tin.
It's exactly what it is. And that said, I do find it charming and kind of relaxing to play. As you keep going, there's 5-6 areas, but they all, as you keep going, they unlock different times of day with different shenanigans going on. I haven't found any of the photos being like there's one that says like, you're in a natural area, and it's like, take a picture of a dog with the geyser. And I was trying to like coax a dog to walk into the geyser so it got launched in the air and could get like an action shot. The dog actually can't enter that area. You just need to take a shot of the dog and the geyser in the same picture. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but
you want the dog in the geyser?
I wanted a bit of a puzzle because I was talking about it with someone else and they said,
Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon Snap. I'm like, I think Pokemon Snap is more of a game. I think it has like, you've got to work out conditions to get things. And whilst this certainly has like, you can throw balls and give them bones and all that sort of stuff, it's very much like I want a picture of a dog with a bone, so go give him a bone. I haven't encountered anything more complex than that, really. But it's fun to explore. It looks cute. And it is fun. The weirdest thing I found, though, is a bug, and I need to test it. So when you save a photo, it saves it on your hard drive for real. So I was like, I'm going to take these cute photos and I'm going to post them to the Discord. I turned up the photo size to the maximum, because I'm like, okay, even the maximum's not going to be that big. Let's not worry about it. And I went to the folder, and there were tiny little photos, like 240 pixels high or something. I'm like, what the fuck? But in-game, they looked bad too. And when I turned it to medium, they looked better in-game.
Oh, okay.
And
so the higher setting is
so the higher setting seems to like crush. I don't know what's going on there. So I need to test that and report it if it's an actual bug. But yeah, other than that, there's not a whole lot to say. It's on Game Pass, which is great because I totally wouldn't have paid full price for this, but I have enjoyed my time with it. Thank God Microsoft buys things.
I can't wait for Willy Blemish to make his way to Game Pass.
It's Blemish, isn't
Blemish,
it? Yeah.
And Codename Iceman game. Can't wait.
That's a blast from them. You remember the putt Games and the Freddy? They just came out on Switch. Yeah. And then they even got patches because they got like music problems or something. Like, give Ron Gilbert all that money. Oh, Pajama Sam was the other one, was it? I thought it was the fish one.
Oh,
maybe they're all there.
You're right. It's Puppet and Freddy Fish. Pajama Sam was something else.
Sweet. I am wondering how my son. I think Putt will still go great when he's old enough. Get in there. Okay, Sam.
Yeah.
You have been playing a game called Bitburner that I've never heard of.
Semi-playing a game called Bitburner.
What is semi-play?
So you know, hacking
he's been
games.
half aroused.
The whole time. You know those hacking games.
Like a blink.
I gotta hack
chopping wood.
I type almost correct commands to hack into fake computers to type fake hack commands to do things, and then there's usually some kind of storyline about hacking.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Like Pony Island,
but it's an idle game.
Okay.
So here's the caveat: you're making money by hacking into other machines, but it's an idle game, so you don't want to have to do it yourself. So you got to automate it. So you got to automate it by writing legitimate JavaScript.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, that's kind of cute.
And it's fun.
Yeah,
and it's free to play. And it was cute. That's about it. It's a fun little take on that whole kind of premise. Of
feels like we might have different interpretations of fun.
So like as an idle game, and like I find it interesting because like every free to play idle game, like Cookie Clicker being the big first one, but every single iteration of an idle game that's ever happened, people have scripted. People have automated and scripted, and this is a game that upfront goes, do
descriptive.
that. Do that.
So does it have that kind of progression to it? Like, does it
does, yeah.
So does that mean you have to go in and alter your code as it goes along?
Yeah,
or can you optimize it from the
there's
beginning?
variations to, like I got it to the point where, because like most idle games, it hits a point where like you're not earning enough to unlock new things, so you have to do a reset, and then you start from scratch again.
See, that's a part of the mechanic I never like.
With like slight percentage increases to how fast and how...
So it does that.
So it's got that very much idle game loop to it. So the first thing I did is write a script that does the like start deployment system that just automates the full deployment of like getting started.
I love it.
Which is like hacking all the base level servers that you have access to and like deploying
I'm more okay with that. I always hate the reset mechanic.
And a lot of it is about optimization, and like the way it works is basically you run a hack on a machine and it gets you X amount of money. Every machine has a pool of money that you're pulling from, and then you've got two other commands. One bumps the money back up, and one lowers the difficulty of the hack. Difficulty goes up every time you do a hack or increase the money. So you're balancing those three things like as a resource to optimize the system. So you're like, at first it's like, oh, just run a hack, and then if the difficulty goes above 10, run the difficulty lower until it's lower again. But then you start going, well, what if I optimize it, because I'm now spreading a script across lots of different servers, because scripts use up a certain amount of RAM. So like you have one script that's like checking how much money's on a server, one that's checking how much the difficulty is, one that's hacking it. It's just this huge optimization problem, which just for 2 days straight hooked me. And it was nice to just be writing actual code to do stuff.
Yeah,
because it's not very common to do that. All those types of games usually are obfuscated.
Yeah,
like
it's that way.
Yeah,
extra level stuff.
Yeah, like cool. Just trying to think if there's a Zachtronics where you get very close. And
Zachtronics is the closest you get to like realistic systems.
Yes. Okay, James. Speaking of things that I don't know what they are, what is Ashnar 2?
Ashnar 2 Hyperdrive. You mean you haven't played Ashnar?
No. This is a Heaven Dust all over.
I'd never heard of Ashnar. This is a quest game that I picked up.
Oh, this is the one you sent me a screenshot of. Oh no. Oh no. When you said quest game, I thought you meant like Heroes Quest, because you sent me that weird old like Sierra style.
VR Quest.
You mean I'm not talking about Altered Destiny?
Altered Destiny, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. No, you mean Quest as in VR Quest, the Meta Quest,
VR Quest. So I picked this up because I got one of the 30% off vouchers, which Oculus are very good.
They just hand them out. Right?
I'd given to me at the
right time. That and Epic, like vouchers is a much better system for anything.
And it is a space VR game, which is and like this one of the screenshots. The first screenshot has like in the cockpit, and it's like in space. It's kind of like cool trails. It reminds me a little bit of Homeworld, tiny
it's got
bit.
Trails.
Oh no! Some of the ship design is a little bit Homeworld, not so much in the stuff they're showing in the videos, but so in the game it's a little bit more Homeworldy. And so I got the game, and first thing I did is like you can choose whether you want to be third person or cockpit.
Yeah, so cockpit, obviously cockpit.
Cockpit, obviously.
Playing VR, what else are you gonna choose?
And so I go
third person.
I go into cockpit. And now I'm pretty good when it comes to nausea and cockpits. This one I immediately felt very ill. And it sort of used motion controls to kind of like turn the ship. And I started getting the hang of it. And then I was like, I'm feeling sick. This isn't right. And so I decided, all right, I'm just going to go look at the third person. Cockpit should not be in there. This game is not. Yeah, it is not a cockpit game.
Paul has a video right now that looks designed for third person.
So the best way I can describe what it is,
even the third person is making me feel a bit ill.
It's basically a shooter where the ship is basically following where you're shooting. So it's sort of like you're pointing where you want to fire. I found like a turnaround a lot, like physically turn around, and then the ship will just follow. So the reason like it was making me feel so ill when I was playing it was because that's the way the movement was working. Like it was just like moving around crazy fast. So once I got that, I actually started really enjoying it. it's got like a good the missions are a good length. I find they're mainly around 5 minutes or so. There's a few of them. There's like maybe like 30 or so missions in there, 20, 30, something like that. But yeah, they're nice and short because like for me, that 5 minute experience is perfect for VR. Like I was like 5 minutes done. All right, maybe like 10 minutes later I might come back and do another one. That's sort of like how I like to play it. There's a lot of variety on the weapons. So it's like some of them have like a close range, like some like beam weapon, some is like a laser gun. I was actually trying to think like what the combat reminded me most of. It reminded me actually a bit of Freelancer. If you want to go way back to there, to like I think it's 2003 or something like that. Whereas like you kind of like third person, and you're sort of like moving a reticle to say like where you want to shoot, and it's sort of like following to do it. Which kind of made me want like the pioneer like structure of Freelancer, like that kind of open world universe, but in this would be pretty fun. But yeah, like I've only played the single player. There is there's co-op in there, and there's apparently a battle royale mode. Though when I jumped into multiplayer, there was only one game currently running. That's a good sign. And it was so I don't really know how to over 50 missions.
No. You're saying over 50 missions. This is Ashnar Online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was wondering like, okay, we've seen Ashnar 2. What's Ashnar?
Yeah.
I think it was Ashnar Online. So this is a different game.
Okay.
But there was for the Oculus Go as well.
Okay. Is this one on Quest? No.
Rift Gear and Go.
Okay. But yeah, like it sells itself as like, because like in one of the screenshots, like the very first one I saw was like cockpit. I'm like, cool, done. Your marketing's working. But don't go into it thinking that if you were to get it, because like it is really, I honestly don't know why they put it in. Like it just doesn't work very well. But playing it as a third person game, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, like it does some. One of the reasons I also like looking at these things is for my own VR game, because this is I think an Oculus published game. To see where the bar is, like in terms of like how far do you need to go, like in terms of polish, and there's some rough stuff in this.
Not very far is the answer.
Like just like there's some little things like there you, and this is going to sound really nitpicky, but as someone that has to do UX stuff, it's like it kind of really grinds me. You go into a menu, there's no back button. There's a little bit of text that just says, press the menu button to go back. Like, it might seem like a little thing, but, like, I'm stuck. Like, I tap into something. It's like, surely there's a back button somewhere. Like, no. Press, like, there's no, like, physical... Anyway, it's just, like, it's a bit of polish. It's like, I'm surprised they got that through. There's a lot of issues with orientation of the camera. So quite often... Like, you're doing a mission, and then it's like, there is an instant snap into a transition, into a cutscene. So if you, like, hit an objective, it'll be like, boom, you're playing a cutscene, and you may be facing the wrong direction.
So it just, like, flips you around?
So suddenly, I'm somewhere else. It's like, is it a bug? Like, everything has vanished from the screen.
Maybe dip to black.
Yeah, maybe dip to black. Maybe orientate, like, me to where I should be looking. Just, like, based on my current rotation, please. Yeah, so it's got like a bunch of stuff like that, but just like from a development perspective, it's also kind of interesting to see. Okay, like where should I be putting my time into? Like obviously I want to not have these problems, but it's interesting to see. But these things aside, the actual gameplay mechanics I really enjoy. Like I find it really fun to like suddenly there's something above me and like I look up and shoot and then my ship goes up and there's a fair bit of control over like if you might be going through an asteroid field, like you sort of dip your hand down a little bit and you'll kind of swoop into it, and like it all controls really well. Just don't play cockpit, and there's a bit of janky menu.
Don't tell me what to do.
You can play cockpit if you want. I'm not your VR boss.
Okay, cool. Why not?
Yes, that's I keep forgetting the name. Ashnar 2 Hyperdrive.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. Yeah, the title.
Hyperdrive.
Yeah. No connection to Hyperdrive, the TV show.
No, Dino Wizard.
I almost wore that shirt today. Paul made me a Dino Wizard shirt. It's so good.
It's one of a kind. Cool. Okay. Now the news that we didn't cover already. Biggest news. Scrolling through the upcoming games on Switch. And wild. What did I see? But Elastomaniac is getting a re-release on Switch. And if you don't know Elastomania, you weren't in high school when we were in high school.
but me as well.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of an age gap here,
and
yet it's still one of my best friends that I talk to.
I bet it's still on some USB sticks.
Still plays it religiously. Like he
really,
he's so well. He had world records on it at one point.
Wow,
he was so into that community. Like he's got like tens of Finnish friends from just playing Elastomania.
Wow,
like he knows everyone in Finland at this point.
Elastomania was it Flash?
It was originally,
a Flash online motorcycle game, which kind of, I guess, ended up being like a precursor to things like Trials.
A little bit, yeah, because it's a Trials game, effectively.
Yeah, it's a Trial, but kind of with wackier, much looser physics than that. And it still looks the same on the Switch, and I am semi-tempted to buy it.
I distinctly remember making levels for it, because the built-in level creator, you literally just used MS Paint.
Yeah,
so really. You painted it. It was just colors. One color was land, one color was sky, and then you just like dotted apples, which are the collectibles, into that, and it just loaded it as a level.
That now.
That's cool.
And
just like it took your image, and that was the terrain. It was wild, and then the community around it. At least when I went through high school, like that era. Like they were starting to push like mods in development, and then like they brought out a multiplayer online version where like you could see everyone else playing.
I wonder how robust the
like
Switch version will be.
Tracking everyone's times, so they could run like full just competitions in game.
Because like,
why is this not an Olympic sport?
Well, why not? Because
where's the esports scene for this?
Because Trials sort of like went off the deep end for me. It got so caught up in it, like it's like it's microtransaction-y bullshit. Like I didn't even know what the shape of the game was anymore. I'm like, wait, am I buying a game or am I buying a pass? Am I getting a game and then I've got to buy other? I don't even know anymore. Where's just me buying? You remember the one that started with a cool rap song?
No.
I won Trials. It's rad. But yeah, I'm like, if they do a good package, Elastomania can be game of the year.
And I remember that, like some of the user-made levels just being ridiculous with the mechanics, because the whole point is like your hitbox was just your helmet.
Yeah.
And then
because
the only other thing that had interaction was the
wheels of the bike,
which were attached to the bike by literally elastic and could squish and expand insane amounts.
Yeah.
So the point you could layer two wheels over each other perfectly and fit through a tiny one wheel wide gap and very carefully not hit your head on the walls. And then like all these extra, it was wild.
Yeah. What a unique little game. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. And tell you what, we're all going to buy it. Promise, right now. We're doing it.
How much is it?
I don't know, $100.
It's made me want to message my friend and be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, where did this come from? Is this like communities just like gotten permission to do this? Because I'm sure the dev wasn't still doing anything with it.
I mean, what if they have just been
a
working
community release? Like they've ported it to Switch or something? Because it was a pretty strong, like, core team of people that started working on stuff for it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's out today, is it?
26, yeah. Cool. So that's in the past. So it's out. Let's go. Let's go buy it. Oh yeah, it should be there. Yeah. Oh, let's. Yeah.
That's impossible to find on anything except the console. Surely. You have to look at the eShop to find prices.
And
is it not available yet?
26. Oh, maybe it's going to be
26 in the US.
So
yeah, that must be. Yeah. So don't know yet. Come on, Deku Deals, which I recommend for all of your eShop.
It is much better for looking through the eShop than the eShop.
Yeah, the eShop's terrible, and it can't load properly anymore.
No. It lags a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those tech problems I don't really understand. And then
why is the eShop so slow?
Why are all of them
only
so
loading
slow?
like 6 games at a time, and yet you feel like it's loading the entire catalog at once.
Well, because I think there's something about it, like literally, like
I think it pulls the entire database to find out what the next row is.
Yeah, something like that. Because
in the main thread.
And the thing is, it's like people complain about sales on eShop. It's like, well, maybe if you just want just Nintendo main party things, but like during Christmas, there was literally over 2,000 games on sale.
Yeah.
Even I couldn't scroll through it.
Every time I see someone be like, I don't know if I really want to get a Switch because there's only like one game I want on it. I'm like, you're only looking at first-party games, aren't you? Like, just go look at the whole list. There's so many.
It's crazy what's on there.
Ooh, stab just dropped.
But if we get a Steam Deck, we might not need the Switch.
I feel like the Steam Deck will make my Switch a little bit redundant.
Especially if we can get Game Pass stuff going properly.
Get Game Pass stuff, yeah. Oh. And when we get the inevitable Switch emulator.
Yeah.
Which it's actually entirely possible, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's just an NVIDIA shield.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
Publicly. Okay, let's get back to finishing off the news that we didn't do. So we've already discussed Hyperblade, so that's good. There's some more Star Wars games got announced.
Oh,
they did.
They did. I missed them.
They're coming from our friends at Titanfall. Or Respawn, some people call them.
They're doing some more stuff.
Yeah, so they're doing the one we already knew they were doing.
Jedi
Fallen Order 2.
Yeah.
They're also doing an unnamed first-person Star Wars game.
Okay, so
and
Dark Forces returns confirmed, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
They're finally doing Dark Forces 3.
Yep.
And they are heading but not developing. It's other studio developing it, which is made partly of XCOM and Civ devs. Doing a Star Wars strategy game. Which, because it came from XCOM and Civ devs, we're all just assuming is turn-based.
I would assume so. That would be
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, so those are some more Star Wars for you. Next up, Fortnite is cool, ? Says Paul. So I get a lot of press releases in my email, because I asked for them. And for some reason, they send me Fortnite ones.
It's a bit popular.
You didn't ask for those ones.
Well, I mean, I asked to be on the general Epic stuff, and then Fortnite's there, and I haven't said don't send me Fortnite, because sometimes it's fun to read them. Yeah. For a while, it's just like, oh, look, we're partnering up with Marvel and DC at the same time. Don't tell the other one.
We've got Master Chief using Spider-Man's web slingers.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's great.
And then they start sending things like, oh, by the way, we're launching a virtual recreation of this art exhibit, this case Cause New Fiction, which is, I don't know if it's currently available, or at least was in the UK, and we've made it virtual, and you can go walk through the art musician.
You can be Master Chief or whatever other character you want and run around an art exhibition.
And it's
maybe even pickaxe it down.
It's a metaverse. Yeah. Metaverse.
It's metaverse, and we all know how much I fucking loved that Kid A thing from last year.
That's cool. I didn't know they're doing.
They were
like
also
that.
doing
cool.
music festival over Christmas over the last week.
Yeah, because the music stuff, I think it was the first stuff they started exploring.
Because they started playing with stuff. I know Tones and I was doing something for it, and fuck you if you complain about Tones and I. She's perfectly fine. She's good writer. This thing's fine. All these art exhibitions and music things and everything. Like, I know we joked about it sort of last year. I'm like, I really do think I need to get into Fortnite.
For the past year, Fortnite has been a platform, not a game.
What if
it just happens to have a game in it?
What if then we started getting E3 back
in Fortnite?
Oh,
F3.
Yeah, F3.
Fortnite.
No,
look, I would
could just be Epic 3.
Yeah, when it comes to like wanting to check out a show floor.
Well, we did it with Devolver.
Yeah, like it is actually a pretty fun way to do it.
It is, yeah.
I'm kind of okay with it.
If you hate the game, you can shoot it.
I also want I want a mode with populated and not populated. I kind of want that experience of like being crowded and full of people as well.
Let's check out the orgy space with and without people.
That's when this whole metaverse thing that I start to see a little bit more of an appeal. Like when it comes to these kind of like
and the thing about
interactive exhibits and things like that.
This corporately owned and curated metaverse is that we had the opposite, and that was Second Life, and that was just ads and dicks.
Still going.
Oh, we still have Second Life. Oh man, I love it. I'd love it if another politician was just like, I'm going to launch my campaign on Second Life.
To the Bukkake tub.
How long until we get that stuff in VR chat? Like someone does.
Oh, like doing that political stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Didn't Obama do? Well, that can't have been Obama. Someone was doing stuff in Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
for some reason, all I can remember is Elijah Wood, and I don't believe he ran for office.
A bunch of different places did sort of Animal Crossing. I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'd be too long at all. But it's just got to work out the platform. Yeah. Is it VR chat? Is it going to be some Facebook shit?
Is it Meta Horizons?
Is it whatever Microsoft's metaverse is going to be?
Oh God, I wonder. I should look it up because I was just thinking about. Oh, but Fortnite doesn't have VR, and I don't think the main game will, at least for a while. But
will they put it in there?
Yeah, because they make lots of other content, as you say, it's a platform, so there could be VR content put in Fortnite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then it could be on the Quest and
more eyeballs for Fortnite. Yeah. We already mentioned E3 doesn't really exist anymore. We'll see if it ever comes back. And is that all the things that I wrote down? Yes, good enough. Oh, PSVR 2. I don't believe we actually discussed once we got more details of it. They released the specs of the headset, and what they are, fucking good.
It sure does look like some good numbers.
It's got the foveated eye track rendering.
Yep. So yeah, it has eye tracking, and that can do the foveated rendering with it, which at the moment, hasn't really got to be. It's kind of more theory in a bit because
I want to see how well this thing works.
Yeah. So that sort of means it renders where you're looking in higher detail than where you're not looking.
The potential performance gains for this tech
could be amazing.
Phenomenal. It's a magnitude of because you're only rendering the little bit that your eyes actually care about.
And hopefully it works as advertised. Yeah. One of the interesting things was also adding vibration to the helmet.
Yeah, feedback.
Which immediately reminded me of the study that I read, which was about that very thing, and they advertised it for immersion, but the actual thing that the study was about was that it reduced nausea heavily if you just put little tapping with the
little bit of rumble.
Just that little bit made things far more palatable for the human brain apparently. So that's cool. Plus we already knew about the tactile feedback and the controllers.
Nice 4K OLEDs in there.
Yep, good screens in there. It's most of the stuff we'd already heard.
Single
cable. Yeah, that stuff had been out for a little bit, but we still haven't seen the headset, and we still haven't heard a price. I would be shocked if it was crazy expensive, but I think it might be more expensive than the original.
I'm expecting,
but it's a pretty good headset. Plus, it comes with controllers when the original one didn't.
I'm expecting $400
US.
Yeah, $450. Is sort of about where my gut says it'll be.
Yeah, we'll see. My guess / hope is mid-year when Moss 2 comes out. But we'll see. We don't know. We have absolutely no idea. That's just a total guess. But yeah, it looks pretty exciting, and it's my pretty much unless they want to charge me $1,500 or something, it'll probably be my next purchase.
They couldn't get away with making it more expensive than
the PS itself.
Yeah, so it's going to be less than that.
Yeah,
I think even if it's approaching the price of the hardware, there's no way that's going to fly.
Yeah, I kind of think they might take a loss on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Which isn't Sony's not big on doing that, but they have done it before. Yeah. So we'll see. And the PSVR, while it's not huge numbers, was pretty fucking successful in the shape of VR. And I've got my Quest, and I mainly want that for my throw my arms around, jump around games, and my PS can be for my sit down look at something more visually impressive. They announced a Horizon experience, and what a good way of using your AAA assets. Let's just let someone sit in a canoe and look at some dinosaurs.
Virtual Jurassic Park.
Yeah, nah. I'm loving it. There's a weird throwback. Okay.
You have Minecraft 2 written there.
Oh, no. So these were all costs. So
Minecraft 2. What is this? I missed something.
Minecraft was $2 billion.
Yes, okay.
Fox was $71.3 billion.
Marvel 4 is not out.
Yeah, Star Wars and Marvel 4 they haven't released that one yet. Yeah. I think that's everything I've got there as news. I had a big note here, what are you looking forward to this year? Because it's kind of our in the looking forward here. Except we're getting close to time anyway, and that's not necessarily that exciting. Give me a couple.
I'm looking forward to the Vermintide, but in space.
Darktide.
Yeah, Darktide.
Yeah,
that's a good pick.
I think my that's top 5. I had Trek to Yomi. Which is the Wild Hog Devolver, just black and white side scroll. I love my cinematic platformers. In that same vein, you can throw in Somerville, which is the aliens have taken over the Earth and you're looking after your family, made by one of the Inside devs after they split because they hate each other now. I actually don't know if that's true, but they did split. Moss Book 2, which we've already mentioned. The game that got a much earlier release date than most people were expecting, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, comes out in March now. I have already ordered it on my Switch because I had a spare game ticket.
Yep.
And I was like, I'll use it on that because I don't care about Pokemon.
I had two, so I used it on
one
both
for
those
Pokemon
things.
and one for Kirby.
And I have to remember that even though I've used it for Kirby, it doesn't take it off you until a week before.
Oh, doesn't it?
So if you accidentally go, well, I've got a voucher left, I'm going to go get a game that's out, and then you don't have it for your pre-order gets cancelled.
Yeah. And Card Shark was my other one.
Oh, yes. I'm very excited for
Looking
Card
forward
Shark.
to that. I don't know why I find it. What I did love is because I wrote up this top 50 games I was looking forward to. And I'm looking through it, and there's a game there, Dolmen. I'm like, what the fuck is Dolmen? And I looked it up. I'm like, I don't care about this.
Off the list.
What was I thinking when I wrote that down there? Now it's 49. I've got to go back and look at the list again. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Some cool stuff in there. But yeah, we don't have to just list games that are coming out in the future. That's what E3's for.
But if it doesn't exist, there's a niche to fill. There's a hole.
Oh, I mean,
gap in the market.
They better fucking do something that week because that is just
it's Paul's
time.
Yeah.
Paul's time to enjoy himself and get angry at everyone else not caring as much as me. And
it'll still.
If you lose that, what's the point?
I think we'll still get Paul Games Week.
Oh, okay, it's because we still got a few. We're not at 2 hours yet. We'll leave it a little bit. Dying Light 2, funniest PR I've seen in forever. So a few weeks ago, they put up a tweet going like, "Just letting you know, it'll take 500 hours to complete Dying Light 2." To which the internet said, "Fuck you, fuck off."
No one has that kind of time.
And then they quickly back and go, no, we just mean like if you want to replay and see every bit of content and do everything 100% and get every collectible, like really to complete the game, it'll just be like 80 hours. And everyone's like, 80 hours? Fuck you. Like, okay, honestly, the story takes like 20 hours maximum.
I do appreciate there's now this backlash against excessively long games.
Yeah.
People just burn out now. Yeah. They're like, please stop.
Well, because
we get one every year. Please stop. Yeah.
It gets...
It's like the Assassin's Creed games. You're like, there's too much content.
I would like to play another Assassin's Creed game. But I've played Odyssey. That was literally, I think, about 70 hours. How can I play a 70-hour game again? It's a lot.
It's the big city problem where in a game you're playing and it's totally fine, and then you get to the big city and you're in a big city and you suddenly have a city in front of you and you're like, shit, there's so much to do. You know what I can do? I can turn the game off.
Yeah. This is where Outer Wilds has been pretty good because I look at it and go, I can kind of see the scope of this game.
Yeah.
I can see...
You can literally see it.
Yeah. It feels manageable.
Yeah.
And this is why I will finish it.
Yeah.
But
and that's because, there's always the argument of like, you can ignore most of this content, and they're absolutely right. Like as eventually Dying Light 2 came out, and said like, no, it's like 20 hours to do the game. Don't freak out, guys.
Let's not oversell, man.
But at the same point, it's like depending on how that stuff is exposed and around there and everything, it's like it's distracting to it, and also like you see these grinds that you could never do, and it's like, well, I'll never see that content now. And it's like, and whilst I'm against completionism these days, it's like it certainly can be something to annoy you. It's like, oh, look at this amazing sword. How much does it cost? Yeah. $70 billion. Okay.
You know what I kind of like?
If I start picking up every dollar I see, I'll just 7 lifetimes.
You know what I kind of like? I like the idea of the long end game. So let me go through something, and then if
Supraland, 6 inches.
And if someone wants to keep going,
let me finish the core.
And more power to them.
And that is Dying Light.
Yeah.
Like Dying Light, I don't know how long ago it came out now. They had a content drop today. They keep releasing new stuff. People keep playing it daily. Like there are people that put in way more than 500 hours in Dying Light 2. I love Dying Light 2. I have not, and it's fine. And the original Dying Light, I've never felt that I was missing out on stuff. Yeah. So I really don't have any reason to be freaking out that they said 500 hours. It's just not good marketing.
No, it's not the way to do it.
Yeah, what was good marketing was then afterwards they also said a week after said we're dedicated to 5 years of support. And that's what that community wants to hear, that they're going to keep getting shit. Yeah. The number, I know they thought it was good. It's like when people say their map size, our map size is 6 times bigger than the Earth.
It's so meaningless. It's the most meaningless thing in the world.
Hey.
It's such a dumb number.
Yeah. Which brings us
It
back.
could be tiny,
Yeah.
or it could be massive. Density. The density matters.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to Starfield, wanting to know how big the planets are going to be.
What's the density of content?
It's like, we don't want giant. We want good content and everything. Let's see if there's anything crazy in there. Nah, that's all
On
good.
the flip side of the hours thing,
Yeah.
Elden Ring,
Yeah.
they've said it's about 30.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I went, under whose skill level?
Yeah, the devs.
Like, is this someone who's beating the boss first time, or like
the QA team
fifth time?
They
or
can
is
get
this,
through it
is
in
this
30 hours.
Your average player who's gonna beat their brains against a brick wall for a while.
I've seen people do Dark Souls like that.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Well,
on a banana.
This year's AGDQ had a Sekiro speedrun blindfolded. 2
Oh.
hours. 2 hours Sekiro.
Oh, wow.
Completely blindfolded. I'm like, that's
How?
fucking mental.
How?
It's absolutely
How?
mental.
These people have a level of spare time that
It's
we'll never understand.
I don't get it.
And it's just a specific interest as well.
It is,
and I, in some points, envy it. How much?
These are
how much more money would we have about? Yeah,
play video games because they play one video game forever.
It's
very quickly forever.
It was one of the. I think we were talking about it recently with why. Well, other than maybe being untalented, I didn't continue in game dev, and part of it was just this constant, just understanding that people would play game. I would make games, and I would never be able to play my own game anywhere near as much as the people that play my game.
Oh yeah,
Well, it came up with the Deathloop because I linked I mentioned the Deathloop speedrun, and they have an internal speedrun team who reckons that they put maybe 500-600 hours into speedrunning Deathloop before it released.
Yeah,
which blows my mind because that's not even doing it for dev purposes. That's just
wild
because they wanted to speedrun it internally.
If you got the money to
so
someone to do
wild.
it. Yeah.
What an interesting job that would be. It's like, what do you do? It's like, I work in game dev. So what do you do? Well, I speed run inside.
I play things really quickly.
Yeah. How do you describe that to your auntie at Christmas?
Yeah.
Like, what
that
do you do
would
for a
be
living?
fun.
You don't. You just say I make bleep bloop games.
No, you say I work in computers.
Yeah.
And
then they go, I've got a problem with my computer. Can you help me fix it?
And then you get there, it's because the neural net they've been writing is just like, it's too smart.
I helped Mum fix an issue this weekend because her whatever Microsoft's version of OneDrive.
OneDrive, yeah.
Her OneDrive was saying it was full, and she'd paid the money to make it not full, but it was still saying it was full.
Uh-huh.
Was trying to save Office documents, which weren't saving to her computer, even though they do, it goes to both.
Very, very interesting that I was dealing with OneDrive full issues.
That's very strange. So she has 2 accounts.
Uh-huh.
And while she's logged in on everything on one account, she's paid for everything on the other one. Somehow. I do not know how. But she has access to Office on the one she hasn't paid off for Office for.
Uh-huh. That's weird.
But I went to sign out of OneDrive, and it took 15 minutes to sign out. And wouldn't let you do anything else while it was doing it. Why does it take this long to sign out of something?
It doesn't normally. But I can't. No, I had someone at work that's drive was full, and they're like, okay, well, let's delete something. No, I can't delete anything. It's full. Try deleting something. Like, what? Well, let's move a file. Yeah, you can't move a file. It's too full.
The recycle bin's full as well.
Are you fucking joking with me? No, the recycle bin was empty because it wanted to remove things to the recycle bin, obviously.
But there's no space to have a recycle bin.
Like, can I shift delete on a web interface? No. We eventually had to get higher up people involved. It's like, we need you to clear one file. Once one file is gone, we can do 2 files, and then it cascades down. Yeah. We just need, because there was literally it was 0 kilobytes.
Find the smallest file you've got and delete it.
Yeah, and then let's work our way up. There we go.
That's wild.
Otherwise, OneDrive's pretty good for me, honestly. So I think that brings us to the end. Don't have any other business to close.
I don't think so. I'll be playing Pokemon this weekend.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, because the Pokemon trailer that they just released still looked fucking terrible. And then I saw some gameplay and it looked better than the trailer. Yeah. And then the leaks have come out, and the leaks
I've avoided them, but
I'm just a general thing. And I'm obviously not saying any details have been more positive than I was expecting. I think everyone still agrees that it's ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's like, what I do love all the comparisons.
I don't
like,
play Pokemon for it to look pretty.
No. It'll be interesting to see how it actually comes out when it comes out. Because I haven't deep dived into those stuff. The only thing that I did find funny was High Cal at work. He said he basically would be very disappointed if it wasn't a story-rich RPG.
It's a Pokemon game.
They've
never built a story-rich RPG.
I am still mad.
They got
Sword
close
and Shield
with one of them.
at the story of Sword and Shield. I would have enjoyed that game more with no story.
So wild.
I think my dog finally wants to leave the room after 2 hours of lying at our feet going, okay, I don't love you anymore, Dad. Please let me go. Okay. Thank you for watching or listening to 8.5bit. You can check our website, 8.5bit.com, our Twitter and Facebook. Please like and share anything like that. I don't care.
Do all the things.
Subscribe to us on whatever the hell you want. You can join our Discord at discord.8.5bit.com and blah blah blah. I've been your host, Paul.
I've been James.
I've been Sam.
Catch you later, folks.
Thanks, everyone.